going to give you a quick demo of our CTN Network website, ctnnetwork.net. Join our community. It is free. You just type in ctnnetwork.net, and this is the homepage right here. And if you want to create an account, you would just click up here and create new account right here. Sign up with your email, or you can sign up with just clicking on Facebook or Google. So you can sign up with your Facebook account or your Gmail. So I'm already signed up, so I'm going to click in Gmail right here, and it's going to log me in. And as you can see, this is our homepage. Click on creators right here, and this shows you all the CTN family members that are content creators. Everybody is on here. If you want to go to one of their YouTube channels, for example, if you want to go to Crypto Talk Now, just click on channel, and it takes you right over to the YouTube channel for that particular creator. And you click on community. This is our community right here. We do have a forum, and this is a forum where you can post things, you can interact with one another. And there's also a blog right over here that we post our own content on. And if you click on CTN Studios, you can watch our live show and other content creators' live shows right through this CTN Studios. We do have advertisements for some of the content creators. There's the Crypto Smith, there's Waddy, the Crypto Hunter, and we also have live charts for the ISOs right in this box right here. We have a feature where you click on the heart if you want to donate to us. You can donate with Ethereum or Binance, BNB. And also, if you click on this button right here, we're going to have a call-in feature, which is already live. If you want to call us, just click on the green icon, the green phone icon, and click on call now. And during the show, between 9:15 and 10, when we announce it, when Max is on or when I'm on with Max, we will start accepting phone calls, and you guys can be live with the show. If you want to turn your video on, you can come on camera as well. So good stuff there. Now back onto the homepage. If you click on members, you can see all the people that are members here. All these people here, like Chaka just signed up, Gills33, Miguel. All these people here are members of our community. So you guys can sign up, and then you can chat with one another. So you can either click over here, message right here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to welcome him. I'll send him a quick message, and then I can click enter or just a little arrow. If you want to message somebody else, you can click on message, or you can go right over here into members chat and go ahead and message them and create a new chat if you want by clicking this little button right here. Now also, if you scroll down here, you can see some of the past videos that our content creators in our content creator family have created. You can go in here and watch some of the recorded videos. They're scrolling down here. Just choose one to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this brief demo. Make sure you sign up so you can interact and be part of the community when we are not on the live show.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back with you guys on this wonderful Thursday. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. But you know what? I haven't been here for a while. Seems like it's definitely, been a while. Just double checking some settings, making sure everything's good. But I think for the most part, it's good. And glad to be here with you guys. We got quite the lineup to get into. Some of the recent things, obviously, that's happened in light of the SEC and whatnot. On today's outline, you're going to see some things in regards to the timeline and why all these things should be brought to our attention and so on. So I'll do my best to make it make sense for you guys, but it's definitely going to open your eyes. Some of you guys have probably already had your eyes open in regards to some of the recent findings and whatnot. There's other content creators that cover this, obviously, and so on. But I'm going to do my best to provide you guys my own take on it. and see what you guys have to say in regards to everything that's been happening recently. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start off with the first comment of the day. And before I do so, I'm actually going to put up some new banners and so on, just kind of helps with the flow. All right, first comment of the day comes from the one and only Brittany. Welcome back, Mr. Max. Well, thanks, Brittany. Appreciate you. God bless you for that. All right, appreciate it. Tim Shea is here. Saying hello to Brittany. Welcome also Tim Shea, Mayor of Crypto Commissioner, representing the 589th District of the XRP Army. Thank you as usual, Tim Shea. Eddie T is back. He said, what up? Smash that like and sub. Thank you, Eddie T. Always appreciate you as well. CTN Larry says, welcome back, Max. Please hit the like button. Thank you, Larry. There's some dabs to you as well. On top of that, we got the one and only Mr. Brian Dowie. Glad to have you here, sir. And I'll try my best to read all your juicy comments. You know what they're going to be. But I do appreciate you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. On top of that, River says good evening. Good to see River. He's got a new avatar. Let's check out that avatar. What in the world is that avatar? Is that like a raven or something like that with a band-aid? I don't know what that is, to be honest. Anyway, going through a few more comments. I also want to read this. Tim Shea says, missed you, Max. Well, I missed you guys as well. Had quite a few interruptions, again. My dad fell again the other day, and he didn't have to go back to the hospital, but he did fall, and it sucked. I heard him when he fell. I heard a big loud thwap, and he has a goose egg on his forehead. So I'll state this. He's literally the toughest 88-year-old man I ever knew. So, but it's sad. Anyway. April Cornwall's back. She says, hey, Max and everyone. You forgot a hey, April. You gotta do that. Hey. I understand. That's one extra hey. And who wants to type an extra hey? But thank you for being here. April, here's a dab. It's kind of like a broski thing. I think women can do it too, right? All right. So you guys saying hello to each other. River saying, nice to see you, Max. Nice to see you as well. River, thank you. Thank you for being here. We're just going to let some more people filter in. We're going to get into the lineup. We're going to start things off with Ripple's XRP. I do have a deep dive I'm going to get into in regards to Jasmine. I'm not going to do it on the show. It'll take way too long. But, for some people, they're wanting to know what's going on with some of the Jasmine information. It's a DFFT update for data free flow with trust. You're not going to want to miss this particular one. And you can definitely apply it to crypto in general with what's going on in the market and so on. We have a smart audience, and I'm sure you guys will, see what's going on. All right, smash that like if you haven't done so already. I know that, our numbers have taken quite a hit because of the imbalance of the show and, a lot of what's going on with the market and so on. So it's kind of like fighting that uphill, climb again. All right. I'm going to welcome just a few more people. I want to welcome Mr. Jeffrey Shea. He says, what up, Max? Welcome back. I think I saw one time briefly. I think Larry was playing a little bit of one of my videos before he was getting problems with his internet. And it mentions how I say something like, H bars number 6. And you're like, H bars, you're number 6. Come on. You got to keep in mind. I have some other ones. They're definitely, come on. QNT, XRP, XLM, XDC, Jasmine, H bar. Some people want to know my top 10. Casper, Algorand, Filecoin. I think I named my 10 right there. I might be missing one. LCX. I forgot about that. All right. Vaseline, bro. Yes. Same to you. No Vaseline in the M16. Got to be like Mr. Larry. Pump iron and feed your body creatine. His favorite jewel is diamond. His favorite color is green. He blankety blanks green and smokes Louis the 13. Boy! I'm kidding. He doesn't do that. All right. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. You definitely need some, that's for sure. Crypto Smooth. Not to be confused with the Crypto Smooth. What up, Max CTN fam? Is that the artist formerly known as Burned by Saitama, who changed his name? I don't know, but nonetheless, welcome. Glad to have you here. Hope everyone has had a beautiful day. You've been out repotting all your wait for it. Your plants. Oh, that's cool. The plants. I know what's going on with that. All right. Let's see here. Brian Dowie, Ahmed Hulk says hello. Huh, does he? All right, you guys saying what's up to that guy? Welcome. Hello, Guten Tag, Liechtenstein Exchange, and Jasmine in the house. Welcome back to Magic Power. All right. Let's see. April Cornwall says she has so many pepper plants and had to plant more watermelon. Interesting. No, not Burned by Saitama. I am the original. Oh, okay. I'll just make sure. Well, welcome, Mr. Original Crypto Smooth. All right. Please smash the like if you haven't done so already. I know people get tired of hearing that. Looks like you guys have. That's cool. So we're doing pretty well as far as that goes. Probably other shows going on, and we also have an uphill battle to get things back. I realize probably some people, you never know, maybe unsubscribed or like to hell with this show. I don't know. It's the way it goes sometimes. Life happens. You planted lettuce, Max. What were you talking about? I don't know. But we'll get into the lineup of what we have right now. All right, so let's jump into it. About 12 minutes and 38 seconds into the show. And we're going to get into some headlines. So let's start things off with, and I guess I finally fixed my Zoom. That's why I came on the camera like this, where it's not, I don't know. Anyway, glad to see it's finally fixed for the most part. All right, we're going to jump into some Ripple XRP. In the process of doing so, we're going to take you to CoinDesk. Let's share this for a brief moment. Start things off with this, okay? So some of you guys are really aware of this, and if anything, I don't want to preach to the choir of like what's going on with the SEC and all this, but it's going to make a good outline, to say the least, because in regards to some of the things that happened recently, we do need to have an outline. Once you see this outline, it's definitely going to raise some eyebrows. It's going to make you pause and think there's a bigger picture going on here. And I want to firmly just state that's the way I believe. You may not be on par with it, and that's okay. Difference of opinion, but at least give me a chance to present what we have here. So let's start it off with this. CoinDesk. Policy, it says, Binance says Gensler once offered to be an informal advisor. I want to give a shout out to Wendy O. I did watch some of her content earlier. I think it was this morning. She was talking about this. Some other people were talking about this. But, at the end of the day, you need to have an understanding of this. So it says, a letter from Binance's counsel says that the SEC chairman, Gary the Gopher Gensler, should be rescued from the case given his history with the exchange and its founder. Now, will all this happen here soon? Probably not, right? Everybody, it's more than just a mob of people from crypto wanting to get this guy out of, the SEC. But in reality, there will be another head that will come. Could be, right? Maybe not, but we're going to play this nonetheless for about 4 minutes, 42 seconds. We'll try to have a good balance back and forth, but this won't just be it. You're going to see, for instance, some sharings from Crypto Hulk. You're going to see some from Cypress Demanicore, you know who he is, and so on. I have some other outlines. I have my own perspective. But for most of the show, it's going to be dominated by XRP. We, of course, have some brief Jasmine updates for you guys. We have some XDC, a little bit of HBAR, but it's going to be a good show. Thank you so much for being here back with us on this Thursday. Going to go ahead and play this for you guys. Let's go ahead and watch it. Here we go.
Not only is it time for my landscapers to do the lawn in the back here, it's also time for CoinDesk Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who's also the editor of CoinDesk's absolute must-read State of Crypto newsletter. The Gardners have finished their copy today very early, and they've gotten to work since. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Your Gardeners have been much more on.
Their Coinbase will continue its staking service, even though they're facing a lawsuit from regulators, including federal regulators. What's his argument here?
Yeah, this is honestly, kind of fascinating to me. So, the SEC has sued Coinbase, and the staking program is part of it. Sure, completely, that's happened. What's really interesting to me is that there's also 10 state regulators. Some of them have asked for an immediate cease and desist or desist and refrain order to stop Coinbase from offering the staking program. So the fact that, CEO Armstrong seems to think that, they have a legitimate argument that this is not a violation of securities law and that they do not plan to shutter the program at all is kind of fascinating to me. It's, it's really throwing the gauntlet in the face of all these regulators who, again, 10 state regulators, some of them are giving them a couple of days or a couple of weeks to respond, but many of them have asked for this immediate, cease and desist.
Let's move over to Binance here. There's already some important dates when it comes to the SEC filing temporary restraining order. What's coming up for Binance as we follow these two cases that came one after the other?
Yeah, so June 12th, Binance has a deadline to respond to the SEC's application for a temporary restraining order. That is Monday. On June 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern, which coincidentally is the same time the House Financial Services Committee is holding a hearing on crypto, there will be a hearing in the DC District Court on the application for a temporary restraining order. And, again, just to recap, this is the application the SEC made to try and freeze Binance US assets until such a time that Binance Global and its management, namely CZ, are no longer able to access these funds.
Nick, we spoke about it at the top of the show, and we have to get your opinion in here. What do you make of these allegations that Gary Gensler once offered to advise Binance? Should he recuse himself from that case, as Binance's lawyers are saying?
I'll take them as two parts, right? The first part is the connections between Binance and CZ. And I would say that, if you're a regulator, you probably have a different view than if you are not a regulator. So Gary Gensler, as an MIT professor, probably has a different view on Binance's operations in 2018 or 2019 than he does as the chair of the SEC in 2023. Some of the allegations that we're seeing as well, in the Binance lawsuit are, conduct that happened over the last 2 years. Allegations that Binance US was spun up as a way to give Binance Global access to customer funds from Binance US or from the US. So those are more recent allegations. As far as the the recusal aspect goes, I think that would have to depend on just how involved Chair Gensler was in Binance's operations. If he has inside information or close personal friendship or something, then maybe. But it sounds like he had a couple meals and offered to advise them on the regulatory structure, which at the time, he said was uncertain. And I think, arguably, I think one of the arguments that exchanges are making now is that it's still uncertain and just as uncertain. But that's, kind of, it's a different question, right? Then that part specifically doesn't lead to a recusal question, I think.
All right, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Nick, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
That was CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day. Don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com.
The State of Crypto is presented by.
All right, thought I'd share that with you guys. We will get, of course, into more of all of this here in a bit. I also want to read a few more comments before doing so. And Wayneside is in the house. Welcome, Wayneside. He basically says right here, dudes, why does the USA have so much influence over cryptocurrency? It is worldwide. At what point does U.S. influence decrease? You know, I don't know when the influence decreases. We have social dominance. And while we still have social dominance and some other things, still leading the world in GDP and so on, we're always going to be a power player. But as far as it making sense, as far as, the overall scheme of things, at some point, let's face it, we don't get the clarity that we need. These companies are going to jump ship. They're going to go other places and so on. But again, some of the problem that's been mentioned is, why is the SEC feel as though it still has the power to have that overreach, even when it comes to companies that are not necessarily operating here? All right, great questions though. April Cornwell states she planted some lettuce. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm glad everybody's laughing about that. Let's go further down in the comments. Got to be healthy. Yeah, that's a good point. I know, like, romaine lettuce is supposed to be, or arugula and stuff like that. It's supposed to be a lot more healthier than iceberg. But I'm always been a fan of iceberg lettuce for, like, chef salad and stuff like that. But teaches on. I don't even like romaine lettuce on my hamburger, but I do like, iceberg lettuce. All right, Tim Shea states, Wayne, crypto will move forward with or without the U.S. Yes, because it's innovation. Brian Dowie, we all know the U.S. is stalling for whatever reason. They're definitely not behind. Yeah, we're going to get into some of the whatever reasons here in a bit. Ahmed, welcome. When Moon is, oh man, I think after the Fed pause, personally. But that's just me. I don't think it's just me. I think other people see it that way too. Brian Dowie says, sup, Latex Larry. How's it bidet? Jeffrey Shea. Gary Gensler looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. He does. Tommy, welcome back. I did give you a follow back on crypto Twitter. Glad to have you here, Mr. Tommy. And let's just read maybe a couple more comments. Or one more. Brian Dowie says, Tim, my dad texted me and said all the schools in New York closed today and tomorrow. Yeah, I saw that, like Times Square. It's crazy stuff. I'm surprised. Max, how do you feel about electric lettuce? I don't know what to think about that. Ahmed, doesn't the CFTC have a say in what is a security and what is not? That is true. But at this point, with the dominance, we always talk, the social dominance of, like the SEC's reach and so on. Do you feel as though the CFTC is doing a great job with their dominance? Not so much, right? All right. We're going to jump back to what we have. And if anything, we're going to do that right here, right now. So let me pull up some information for you guys. And I think I got it right here. Let me just double check. Yeah, I do. All right. So this one actually comes from Crypto Hulk. He's got great info, great research. You guys know my gripe. We all have a gripe, but he has great research. So let's not get into the gripes. Let's just get into, the info. All right. So here it is. He has some news for us, and it was posted not that long ago. Roughly, I think, an hour ago. He states, kaboom, the USA SEC labels 61 cryptos illegal securities. Russia greenlights crypto sales by largest bank. I know he tries to hide some of his, he doesn't want people to see what he has. I mean, at the end of the day, you just type in the same search of what you see that's on the screen, and you can find it. And if Google's not going to find it for you, then you go with DuckDuckGo. But whatever, maybe most people don't know that. I don't know. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this. Think about what is mentioned here, and it's going to be pieced all together on today's outline. Smash the like if you haven't done this already. Here we go.
The SEC officially announces 61 cryptos are illegal. They're securities. Check it out right there. They list some of them right here. XRP. They added XRP to the list. Before, the XRP sales were securities, not the XRP itself. Now the SEC is actually saying right here, Ripple's XRP, okay? It has lawsuits right now. Now, what's very interesting is Sberbank. This is in Russia. Russia now supports crypto trading for customers. Are you seeing this? What the hell is going on at the SEC? Sberbank, Russia's largest bank, is planning to provide crypto trading services to its clients. When is this going to happen? In like 2 weeks. Now, I got a WTF question. Why is the SEC in America calling all these crypto securities and stuff, busting people? Ripple's XRP library, Algorand, there's 61 of them. I'm not going to read them all off, okay? Meanwhile, we got Russia opening up shop for sales for citizens to buy and sell. This is Crypto Hulk. I'm telling you what, I got a live stream going on in about 3 hours from now. I got the Crypto Hulk hotline set up. You guys can call in, ask questions. Hopefully I can answer all your questions. Oh, this one right there, that Bitcoin, that's not a security, according to Gary Gensler. Just so I let you know, Crypto Hulk live stream, YouTube, coming up June 8th in a few hours. We got a show lined up for sure.
All right. So, that was interesting, right? But there's more. As Billy Mays would always say, but wait, there's more. Let's jump into some of the more here right now. So that, of course, was from Crypto Hulk. And, I understand he feels as though people are going to steal his content and whatever. But, I mean, it's just... at the end of the day, here's where it comes from. Okay. I mean, seriously, this is literally where it comes from. All right. So it comes from here, just like you saw in the video. SEC declares 61 crypto securities Binance under lawsuit fire. It comes from CryptoRank. I mean, .io. I mean, at the end of the day, you just type in what's on the news headline. I mean, it's just not rocket science, right? But anyway, we're going to get into some of the other ones, right? Obviously, it was highlighting Ripple's XRP, maybe a few others, right? You did see Algo basically take, but we already know about some of these things, right? So how about some of the other ones, right? So, maybe you weren't aware of this, but there's some doom and gloom. I'm not panicking, but there's some assets on this list that, let's face it, I own, you own, a lot more than just, obviously XRP. So let's jump into this. I'm just trying to blow it up a little bit more for you guys can see it. And here it says, SEC now deems 61 cryptocurrencies as securities. You already know about that, including Ripple's XRP, Binance's coins. SEC covers over 100 billion worth of the crypto market. Just double checking some settings. This is making up 10% of the total market capitalization. SEC chairman, obviously, Gopher Gensler, quote, everything other than Bitcoin is a security. Now, it makes you wonder, why would that be? Now, in the outline, you did see Crypto Hulk mention that specific bank that was in Russia, right? Now, in the past, there's been some conflicting things, right? We have one side of research that shows, wow, maybe, Craig Wright is really, Satoshi Nakamoto, right? That's debatable. But, you saw, what was it, Dan Pena? He kept saying that if you knew who really created Bitcoin, you would get the hell out of it. Now, just hear me out on this. I'm not a big fan of Dan Pena. I don't like the way he talks and so on, right? But he does bring up some valid things. So I do give credit where credit's due, just like I do with Crypto Hulk, right? He states, Dan Pena, that if you knew who created Bitcoin, you get the hell out of it. Now, I'm not saying for sure this is the case, but when you see, for instance, from the start that Gary Gensler and the SEC have basically stated all these are securities except for Bitcoin. Now, is there a reason for that? When you see in the video clip what was presented by Crypto Hulk, basically mentioning but look what's going on at the same time all this crap is going on. There's this bank that he mentioned in Russia. It does make you wonder, why is that? You know what I mean? Let's get more into this. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has been actively involved in various lawsuits concerning the classification of crypto securities, but we're going to jump into some of the other ones listed on this list. So unfortunately, guys, as you can see right here, we already know about Algorand, we already know about library credits, but there are 16 other ones that really stood out. Yeah, our beloved Luna Classic. We haven't talked about Luna Classic for a long time. What a time to talk about Luna Classic. Luna Classic is part of this list. Were you aware of that? Mirror Protocol, I'm not into that. There's also some other ones, right? But anyway, that's what stood out for me. Luna Classic is on that list. Well, some people say, well, of course it's going to be on the list, Max, because, in light of what happened last year. Okay, fair enough. But, it makes you wonder, to say the least, right? So it says SEC Chair Gary Gensler has claimed that everything other than Bitcoin is a security that falls under the agency's remit. Therefore, it is likely that the SEC will continue to bring more cryptocurrencies under its classification as securities. The SEC's actions have far-reaching consequences for the cryptocurrency market, and its lawsuits are expected to impact how cryptocurrencies are traded and regulated in the future. Now, I want to also state this. So, in light of what was recently reported, you would think that, the whole market would have tanked below 1 trillion overall market cap on CMC and also, right, CoinGecko. That didn't happen. Yes, we did see the market tank. A lot of you guys took advantages of, for instance, the market tanking. Like, did we not see Jasmine tank down to 0.003938, right? Shout out to anybody who took advantage of that. But at the end of the day, like we mentioned, when it comes to assets like that, they're running correlation with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. But my thing is this. I think we do still get this pullback and blast off, especially after a proper Fed pause. Now, is there evidence to show that this is, like Larry has mentioned in the past, all done by design? I'm honestly at the point, for me personally, I'm not saying for sure, right? Because I'm not a genie or a fortune teller, but I honestly think that at this point, this is exactly what's going on. This is done by design. You're going to get the Wall Street guys here to take advantage of what's going on. Now, while this is being dominated by the SEC news, our news headlines and so on, what's going on with the SEC, we're going to talk about Ripple and so on. Later on, you're going to see from a guy named Manila Will in regards to the Jasmine segment. He talks about, for instance, where this money is going and so on. We want to pay attention to that as well, because as we know, when there is massive fear, there's also massive greed, and whales will take advantage. That's why if you're a newcomer to all this, you got to pay attention to what's going on with especially the whale investors, because let's face it, a lot of times whale investors are behind the scenes, part of Wall Street and so on. Okay, so let's go further down this. It says, we are operating as a effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. Binance chief compliance officer said back in 2018. So some of the cryptocurrencies that have been deemed securities by the SEC obviously are XRP. There's even TON. Here's library credits. There's some more, like I mentioned, right? There's OMG. There's Dash, Naga, Monolith, IHT Real Estate, Power Ledger, POWR, never was aware of that one. Obviously AMP, that's been on the list for a while, right? Governance Token, there's some other ones here. I'm gonna get to some of the other ones that stand out. Obviously LCX, right? This was mentioned in the past. Some people feel as though, no, they're good because they're very, very regulation safe. How about this, right? We saw spike not that long ago when Tron was starting to take off, and then boom, this happens. That's interesting. BitTorrent, BTT, I've held that since my, the beginning of my crypto journey, right? And I'm still holding on to that one. I have like $4,400 into that, and it's worth, God, I don't know. It might be worth $800 right now. Very disappointing. As you can also see in regards to Terra Luna, you have UST, right? Technically USTC, they should fix that. You have the new Luna, right? Which is Terra 2.0. I believe that's what they're referring to. Mirror Protocol, Mango. There's some other ones. Let's get into some of the other ones. My Filecoin, like, why are you messing with my Filecoin, right? I felt as though Filecoin, we were at the bottom of Filecoin. We were before the news came out, right, about them deeming Filecoin security. So there's some other ones here. Solana, Cardano, right? Sorry, Hoskinson, you're now on the list. You know, you should have probably came to the aid of the XRP army. I threw that. I mentioned that a long time ago. A lot of you guys felt that way too. Polygon, Manic, Cosmos, for crying out. So I mean, there's some big players. There's Sandbox, Decentraland, Axie Infinity. Why are they messing around with Axie Infinity? Well, because of the staking and so on. All right, this is a gaming token. All right. So literally, I mean, if you think about this whole concept that we've heard in the past that, you know, 99% of all the cryptos are going to go away. Here's a perfect example of maybe this is the start of that. I'm just throwing that out there. Now, does that mean it's doom and gloom for you and you're going to panic and so on? There's going to be people who do and there's going to be people who don't. I know I elaborated quite a bit on this particular part, and I'm going to try to keep up with the balance because I don't want to, you know, have like an hour delay on the comments. So I'm going to stop the share on this. We're going to get into the next part of what we have in regards to, like, you know, Judge Annalisa Torres and her position or her thoughts in regards to crypto in general and so on. But we're going to read a few more comments and welcome some more people back. Please smash the like for we get this broadcast out to more and more people. I would appreciate it. Let me turn some banners back on. All right. So let's see where we're at as far as just that, the comments. All right, I want to get back to where I was at. Let's see. You guys got some funny comments. No arms, no legs. Jeez. Kaboom! Hulk in the room. Yes. All right. Magic Power. The SEC is corrupt, run by banks and elites. Gensler is their puppet, according to Magic Power. They fail to control the crypto market and sue everything related to crypto to buy themselves time for the banks. That's a great way of looking at it. You've been following what's going on. That's the way I look at it as well. All right. Hit the like, Latex Larry. I'm sure you did. And let's see. Hulk hates everyone but makes great content. He does hate everyone, it seems like, but he does make great content. Be leaving a trailer 6 hours before the official video. Yeah, he tries to, you know, get people to come in. There's nothing wrong. That's pretty good, you know, to market your brand, right? I'm going to read this from Magic Power. The political pressure from the Republicans and also from the ranks of the Democrats for regulation and clarity for the crypto market can no longer be stopped. Very good point. Brian Dowie says, Jeb and some guys on Wall Street created Bitcoin. Changed my mind. Could be right. Wayne side, I think crypto will start moving after the Fed pauses, after a Ripple case resolved, and after the halving of BTC. Go 2024, hang on team. That could be a case too, you know. Everything else is deemed a security except for that because, you know, more scarcity to a sense. I mean, the halving doesn't cut the supply in half. Some people, I saw some people who didn't know about some of these things. They were thinking, oh, it cuts the supply. It doesn't do that. You know, it's, if anything, it's cutting the mining rewards for miners and so on, but there's more to it than just that. But it definitely will create that much more demand for it. You know, people are saying that, you know, it's not going to be worth anything. I mean, how many times have we heard people say BTC, you know, I guess Dan Pena, ironically, you know, it's going to go to zero. All this is going to go to zero. Okay, it's not going to go to zero. It's lost seed phrases, right? All right, what about Gensler shorting Bitcoin 48 hours ago, insider trading? I wasn't aware of that, but yeah, that should be looked into as well. Want to welcome back Menelec with the great intellect. You've been killing it on crypto Twitter. Very much appreciated what you're doing for, you know, crypto in general, and also, let's face it, I mean, especially for Jasmine with your, you know, your new name on there, Candlestick Maker. Props to you, Menelec. Thank you for doing that, bringing awareness. Got some great thumbnails, great quotes, great intellect from Mentelect. Give Mentelect a follow, guys, on crypto Twitter. And we'll read a few more questions, maybe, if we have some. Algo is a steal. I think it is a steal. Let's check out what the price is real quick on Algo here in a bit. So Algorand, isn't it like 11 cents? A little over 12 cents. Excuse me. 12 cents 34, right? 12 and a third cent, basically. Grab 10,000 and chill. Peace to the family. Now, speaking of chill, Chili's. I know Brian Downey's not a fan of that, but even that is well under 10 cents, and I was considering buying more of that. Not financial advice, but that's the way I look at it. Gensler owns enough ETH. He doesn't have to short BTC. All right. Michael Montclair shared that as soon as he saw it. All right. That's good stuff. All right. Let's read a couple more comments. Mario, welcome back. Where do we see LCX going this bull run? I don't know. I don't know have exact figures when it comes to that. I mean, nobody does. But, I think in the next true, massive run up for the, towards all time highs and whatnot, it could be very, very interesting to see what's going on with them. I do feel as though that, when more and more people learn about LCX, is create that much more demand for LCX compared to a Binance. In reality, Binance has almost no utility. They only have one utility layer, and that is if you own BNB, you get a discount on their exchange. Big whoop. All right. At least with LCX, you have multiple cases of utility because it's, the tokenization of many different physical assets as well. Welcome back to ISO Jetpack J0229. SEC has no laws on regulation, so it's going in blind, picking anything. Magic Power says after the Hinman revelations on June 13th, the Gensler puppet will not be in office much longer. That's a great point. We're going to get into some of this. So I'm going to use this actually as a bookmark. Let's kick it back into our outline because we did spend some decent time reading the comments. Please smash the like if you just joined the program. Let's see if we can tick up to 40. That'd be nice. So yeah, let's get into this next part of what we have for you guys. All right, so here it is. This is a little bit more in regards to Ripple's XRP. Court victory for Ripple as judge denies SEC motion to seal Hinman docs. Just kind of like what what was it? Magic Power was just talking about and so on, right? So, it says the future of the entire crypto world is in the hands of Judge Annalisa Torres, and it seems like she is pro XRP, and that's the way I look at it. It says this June XRP will shake up the crypto world positively. That's why I have some quotes, like earlier. It's basically a perfect example of, as the saying goes, a win for Ripple is a win for crypto, even if you're not a person who holds XRP. Some of you guys only hold XLM. You're not a fan of XRP for whatever reason. Hey, that's okay. But it's definitely a win for everything. And you better believe there would be some FOMO going on in regards to that. And then, FOMO will also help with the price. Brian Dowie, algo should not be this cheap. Now I agree on that. Now I said when I get back in the comments, but anyway, I had to read that for just a brief moment. So let's get into the next part. What we also have, this is from Verson Alarja. You should follow him at Verson Alarja, Black Swan Capitalist. He states central banks are working with Ripple to redefine global finance by harnessing the power of XRP and cross-border value transfer. XRP will be the ultimate powerhouse in the world of finance. Now, we're not going to watch the whole video because, let's face it, he does deep dives, but at least he has this nice 2-minute and 15-second clip. We are going to play that for you. And if anything, like I mentioned before, please smash the like. We'll try to get this out to a broader base. But, let's face it, a lot of doom and gloom. That also affects the numbers here as well. All right, here we go.
The goal is to help reimagine international finance for a new era.
What would it take to protect financial stability? Well, in terms of central bank digital currencies, interoperability.
We're in a transitional period right now. Central banks around the globe are transitioning.
How worried are you that, again, we're going to see a whole bunch of individual investors who wanted to get in the game really get screwed here and realize they didn't know what they were getting involved with?
I'm particularly concerned in something called the crypto token. Crypto is $2 trillion crypto asset space.
Cryptos are not currencies, full stop. Cryptos are highly speculative assets that claim their fame as currency, possibly, but they're not.
It's not just a question of what the rules are and how they apply. It's who enforces them. If we don't get this right, virtual currencies have the opportunity to blow a total hole in our AML system. As defective as it may be even today, it will become largely meaningless. But we're going to wake up one day, in all probability, where virtual currencies or some form are going to be a real challenge to fiat currency. And then it's going to be too late to try and regulate it. It will have gotten too large, too global, and it will not be subject to regulation.
The technology exists today that could vastly lower the cost of provision of financial services, that could improve anti-money laundering efforts, and that could better protect people's privacy and security. That's there today.
Apple's really trying to solve that cross-border payments problem. Central bank digital currencies are domestic by nature. They're issued by a central bank or potentially issued by a central bank. Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced, that they're issuing and testing using the XRP ledger to issue their digital assets on the XRP ledger.
All right, so I don't know about you. I would like to watch the entire video. So watch Versal Large's entire video over at Black Swan Capitalist. You should be following him, especially if you hold Ripple's XRP. And if you don't hold it, great content creator, gives you some of the best info. He's well connected. So shout out to him in regards to that. We got a little bit more for you guys in regards to this topic of what we're sharing, obviously. So let's get into a little bit more about this. And let's share another one from another content creator. This is from Cypress to Manicore. Let me get this on the screen for you guys. And here's another guy you should obviously follow. You can follow my C Demanicore on crypto Twitter. And like it says right here, I don't see how people still don't see this was all a setup. Again, this is why I'm piecing this all together for you guys tonight, because some of you guys are in the loop, some of us aren't, and that's okay. That's why we have a program that we bring to you guys and so on. So this is a minute 30 seconds. And again, I'm telling you flat out, when we get into all this, I'll give you some of my own perspective as well. Love to hear some of you guys' perspective. But yeah, I believe it is a setup. I believe that this was all planned. It just simply makes sense. But where are we on this next particular point? Again, like I was mentioning to you guys, the accumulation phase. You better believe Wall Street is also doing what, guys? They're also accumulating. Follow what whales are doing. I know you guys have been. Let's go ahead and play this. Thank you to Cypress Demanicore for the content. Smash that like. Here we go.
Is Congress finally about to do something positive in the cryptocurrency market? New U.S. legislation could set out crypto pathway from security status to commodity. That would be super duper freaking bullish. U.S. lawmakers also just unveiled the new draft bill that aims to give regulatory clarity to the cryptocurrency markets. Is Congress finally catching on? What just happened today? Senator Haggerty tells Gary Gensler to expect to hear from Congress as U.S. officials respond to SEC lawsuits. The corruptness is coming to light. The SEC is weaponizing their role to kill an industry. Allowing a company to list publicly and then stonewalling their attempts to register is indefensible. We have been saying this in the community for the longest time. People keep calling us conspiracy theories. It is not a conspiracy theory, right? I said to you guys, think about it. The rest of the world labels XRP a currency. The SEC calls XRP a security in Coinbase with no question delisted. 3 years later, is it not questionable to anybody else that the SEC labels more cryptocurrency securities, but Coinbase still openly allows them to be traded on their platform? Clearly, that is a setup. They do not want you holding XRP. This stuff is insane. If you guys want to read from our perspective this full in-depth breakdown on the U.S. draft bill that just came out, you guys can head over to our website, cyberxtrading.com, and get the full perspective and breakdown on it. Many blessings to you guys. Everybody take it easy. Keep your eyes peeled out there. Don't get flooded out. Pay attention to the detail.
And think about what he mentioned also towards the end, right? For a lot of us, we feel as though that when it comes to Coinbase, Coinbase is kind of like Wall Street's version of an exchange, right? It's their go-to place as far as being an exchange. Maybe some of us don't feel that way. That's the way I look at it, though. You know, literally the writing is on the wall. Let's jump into a couple more comments. We'll read some of it, especially if you have questions. I'll make sure that I'm not behind on anything, and we'll kick it into what we have next. As far as the lineup, a little bit more in regards to Ripple's XRP. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. I also want to welcome P Nice. He says, yo, XLM is heating up. Is it? Let's see if it is. Let's share what's going on with the top 100 real quick. All right. So let me just refresh this. And I want to just sort it the regular way. Oh, okay. On the 1 hour chart, 0.12%. I don't know about that. But you never know. Maybe, you got us into TNA and you see, like, for instance, a God candle or something like that. But that's cool. I mean, maybe we'll get some momentum. We'll have to double check in regards to that. That's cool stuff. All right. Let me come back in the frame. But thank you for being here, P Nice, and thank you for your ongoing support. I also want to say, or read this, I should say. Notice how XLM was not named by the SEC. That's a good point. That's a great point. Yeah. Ripple's XRP and some of these other ones. I mean, everybody is literally talking about, XLM as far as cross-border payments, similar type of technology as Ripple's XRP. Would love to hear the perspective from the SEC about why they weren't selected. But at the same time, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want it to be, a case of, they have crypto dementia and they say, oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's include that one too. Menelect, I thought Filecoin, Sol, ADA, Polygon are some whale favorites. Was misdirection by the SEC. A great point. Great point. Want to welcome Salamander, the XTC commander. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Sal, appreciate you. Perfect time to buy on a lot of these, right? I will show you guys one that I've been paying close attention to. By the way, Shiba Inu, guys, was at its the lowest it's been the other day since I originally got into it. So it went to like a 2-year low briefly. It rebounded slightly up. But that was definitely alarming when I saw that. I was like, oh my God. I was not at the point where I was like, oh, I'm going to buy another billion of these. No, but it was super interesting. The volume went up dramatically. What I want to show you guys just real quick is my watch list, part of it at least. And I think it's Hex, believe it or not, right? Now I'm not, obviously I'm not a Hexican or anything like that. I have nothing against Hex. But I do look at opportunities. And in regards to Hex, I don't own any, but there was a point like around last year where I was really thinking about getting into it. Here's what I want to point out. Hex did break support. It is massively down. It's at 0.007586. Okay. Now, I don't know, at least I didn't see on the list, I was glimpsing at most of it and so on. I don't know if Hex ended up being one that was part of that big 61, 67 crypto list from the SEC. I don't know that. I have to double check about that. But what I do know is based off of market conditions. I pay close attention to this. I said to myself, I may very well be in at a penny. I have to reevaluate this because we went from me targeting roughly a penny, it was like a penny 2, penny 3 for a while. It broke support, went below where I was like, oh, I got an entry point. And now we're at this. We're literally at some levels I never thought I would ever see. I have to find out space, I'm going to check out some YouTubers and so on. Ones that have clout and been in the thing for a while. What they have to share in regards to the TNA on this. I want to read up a little bit more about this. I especially recommend that you read up a little bit more about this if you're on the cusp of getting into Hex. But in the past, especially, Hex was, type of one at roughly around the time it crashed. I think it was like a penny 8, like 0.2 of a penny off of 2 cents. It rebounded and it was like ended up being like a 5x, right? And don't get me wrong, there's some people that are in the Hex for the long term, right? You get some of you guys here may very well be Hexing. There's nothing wrong with that. But my thing is this. I want to see if are we really at the new bottom now? I got to find out more. But to me, this is definitely a distressed asset. Let's face it. I want to find out more about that. I also want to see if I should get into this and back the truck up. because this, in my opinion, is opportunity. Whether I'm a fan of Richard Hart or you're a fan of Richard Hart and so on, right? Let's face it, in my opinion, he's a horrible dresser for how much money he makes, but that's beyond the point. This is opportunity. This is one of the best examples of a distressed asset opportunity. Am I saying for you guys to FOMO into HEX? No, I'm not. You got to do more of your own research. But 30.85% down in a day, that is concerning. Very, very concerning. At the same time, while we're at it, let's check out what's going on with Pulse Chain. Let me see. Was it PHEX? Excuse me. Don't really have it. Hold on. I think I have it on the list. What am I talking about? Hold on a second. Let me hit the back button. That's not what I'm going to do. I think I got it real quick. Just a second. Let's try to pull this up. Pulse Chain. There it is. So with Pulse Chain, ranked 2790, 0.0001191, down 4.76%, climbing. I mean, they're all worth looking into. But the HEX opportunity, I think, is obviously a lot, more of the distressed opportunity. Anyway, teach his own. We're going to read a few more comments. We'll keep this up here for just a bit. In fact, we'll probably go back to the HEX chart. I'll just leave that up there for a bit. All right, I want to welcome Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. Welcome back. He says, hi, Monty Max. Thank you for being here, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. All right. We are future whales. We are future whales. You know? In the future, when we become crypto millionaires, or some of you guys, like Mike Cornwell, maybe I shouldn't say this, but the way I look at it, he's going to be a crypto billionaire. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Anyway, we obsess over the 10x. We obsess over the 100x, 1000x, and so on, right? When you become part of the new 1% and so on, you don't have to sweat it so much on trying to get a 10x or 100x and so on. That's why they consistently focus on a 2x, right? We are future crypto millionaires. Yep, that's one way I look at Mr. Ahmed. Salamander, remember when the government went after Microsoft on lawsuit? Then Microsoft ruled the world. Great point. You know your history. That's good stuff. Crypto Smooth, forget it. Those cryptos are not going anywhere. There will be a crypto war if the SEC tries to ban them. Good point. And, I think you're spot on in regards to that, because if you have, for instance, the XRP army and, people are constantly sharing on crypto Twitter what's going on with, the SEC case and so on, and getting the word out there. Yeah, you're going to, basically light a fire under some other community's butts and so on. It would create an absolute crypto war. But there should be a crypto war long before all this stuff has happened, in my opinion. It shouldn't just be like, the XRP army and we hold the XRP trying to, get things going. Like the saying goes, a win for Ripple is a win for all. Everybody should be on board, whether they hold these coins or tokens or whatnot. We should all be proponents of what's going on. The reward per block is cut in half. Yes, in regards to the Bitcoin halving. Yeah. All right. Let's go further down. Salamander. Now Bill Gates is friends with Clinton. I thought he was friends with him a long time. Back to the 90s. All right. You tag me on Twitter about Gensler shorting BTC. Okay, we can get in that. Let me stop the screen on that for a second. And here's a double dab to you. Let's pull this up from the one and only Tim Shea. All right. Let's go ahead and share this the way you can see it. Why is Leonardo DiCaprio on my screen? That's really strange. But anyway, so you tag me. Let's see what's up with the tag. Or was it a DM? Maybe it was a DM. Let me read it again. You tagged me. Okay, you didn't DM me. All right, let's see what's going on. Mr. Tim Shea Butter. Shea Butter. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I think this is the one. All right, it says Gary's latest crypto tax. It's definitely personal for him. 14 seconds. Okay, hopefully this is the right one. This might be a joke, though, but that's okay. We got to have some humor. Smash that like. Here we go.
Hucksters, fraudsters, scam artists, Ponzi schemes, the public being left in line at the bankruptcy courts. We've seen this story before. Hucksters.
Yeah, we've seen it from him. There's a little bit more you have. Anyway, I'm going to like that, retweet it. Thank you from Mr. Tim Shea. Let's see if you have anything else. You don't? That's okay. All right. We'll read a few more comments, and then we'll kick it back into the lineup of what we have about an hour into the show. I want to welcome Abdul Jawad. I didn't see you up there earlier, but I want to welcome you. Oh, there he is. Let's go, Jasmine. Thanks for being here. Abdul Jawad, thank you for your ongoing support. All right. Not sure if it's legit. It's okay. Everybody agrees algos is still. I do agree as well. I think it's still as well. Let's bring up the algo chart. Algo. I mean, below 15 cents. I mean, yeah, I'd definitely say so. Let's pull that up. Excuse me. All right. Let's go further down. All right. Yep, still bitter about Chili's. That's okay. Denji, welcome back. Gotta have him. He says, Mamma Mia from the Denji. Speaking of Mamma Mia, the one and only Le Grand Commission. Oui, merci beaucoup. He states, crypto always getting attacked during the bear market. Oui. Glad to have you back, Mr. Le Grand Commission. Always a pleasure. All right. Algo is not done dropping like it's hot. Then I'm going to wait on that one. I mean, under 10 cents for Algo, that could be the ultimate pickup, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, Max, you think that's the ultimate pickup? You're also saying that the ultimate pickup is Chili's under 10 cents. Blankety blank Chili's, Max. Right, Brian? Right. Saying hello to LeGrand. That's good stuff. Read maybe 3 more comments. I'll kick it back into the outline. Ahmed, I haven't experienced a bull market yet. I'm glad you're looking at it as yet, because you will. All right, it'll be a second one for me. Why not grab XRP even if you don't like it? Has to pump after lawsuit. Exactly. It's kind of like for the same reason why we highlight what's going on with what, guys, when it comes to distressed assets. All right, JDAT13, Max, my man, what's happening? What's happening is we're looking into why all this crap is happening in the world with crypto. But glad to have you here. It's like something I feel as though it's been planned, in my opinion. All right, how come the SEC never sued Madoff? I don't know. Maybe because he doesn't have anything left? Who knows with that? You never know. He may have secret holdings that nobody knows about. I don't know. I had to look into that. How come the SEC is not? Yeah, exactly. Ethereum. Excuse me. Just give me a second. All right. XRP after lawsuit, a good 2x. All right. Read a couple more. I keep saying that, but I'm just going to find a couple more. Let me see. Kenzer wants people to forget about FTX. Yeah, drawing the attention away from it. That's a good point. On June 13th, everyone will see how hypocritical the SEC is. That's a good point, too. All right, we're going to use that as a highlight. Let's kick it back to our outline. Let's jump into this. And we showed you, obviously, Cypress to Manicore. Let's jump into this. You guys were talking about Ethereum earlier. How about Ethereum and XRP? This once again comes from Crypto Hulk. Or did we already read this one? I don't think so. Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on with this one. Let me stop the share. Oh, okay. We haven't showed you this yet. Or I haven't showed you guys this yet. So let's go ahead and share this. This is good stuff. Also from Crypto Hulk. Been killing it today.
Which crypto?
All right. Let's go ahead and play this. He states, breaking Ethereum and XRP cryptos used in global bank authority experiment. Slightly under 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and play this. Smash that like. Thank you.
Which cryptos are we going over today, Crypto Hulk? Here's that one, Ethereum. And there's that one, XRPizzle. What do we got here? We got the Bank of International Settlements. The bank, the final bank, okay? For any kind of transaction that goes down in the world, it leaves the BIS. What do they find? Can tokens help small, medium enterprise trade finance? Gee, I wonder. It looks like they're going to try the Ethereum public blockchain. That's interesting, isn't it? For trading, right? But look down here. What ledger are they going to use? Project Dynamo is what it's called. It involved a supply chain firm called LinkLogis, and one of its major investors is who? Standard Chartered. Now, why is that important? Because, oh, damn, Ripple partner, Ripple powered instant payments, Standard Chartered. Oh, Standard Chartered completes strategic investment in Ripple. Oh, snap. So you've got an Ethereum and you've got Ripple's XRP. Whoa, very interesting. This is Crypto Hulk. I've got the crypto phone, Crypto Hulk hotline. You can call in. I got a show at 6:30 today, June 8th. It's about 3 hours from now, roughly. We're going over this article. I suggest you check us out at Crypto Hulk on YouTube. Later.
All right, good stuff from the one and only Crypto Hulk. All right, I'm going to show you just a tad bit more in regards to XRP. Actually, we're not. We're going to jump into a little bit of HBAR/XTC. Again, it's a little bit more from Crypto Hulk, but it's good stuff. I saw this earlier and thought I would share it with you guys. All right, so give me a second to share this. This is like slightly before the show started, so you may have not seen this. We'll get into a little bit more, perspective and so on here in a bit. But he says HBAR and XTC crypto get green lights for use in massive exchange. Which one will that be? Here we go.
This is the cryptocurrency HBAR. It comes from a company called Hedera. You need to pay close attention. This is XDC. It comes from a company called Zinfin. It works with R3. Here you have the future going out right here. Aberdeen tokenizes a money market. What is that? For people that don't know, they're taking real world stuff and putting it on a blockchain. There's Hedera. Hedera has the crypto called HBAR. Now, they're using Archaics. That's a digital exchange. So once they get done, they're going on Archaics. But look, Archaics selects R3's Corda. That is XDC. Okay, you need to get both these cryptos. My name's Crypto Hulk. The future is going to happen whether you understand it or not. I highly suggest you watch my channel. We're going to go over this article. This is massive because what they're doing now is taking real world stuff and putting it on a blockchain. If you get into this crypto before it gets popular, then you're set to make a lot of money. This is Crypto Hulk. I also have the Crypto Hulk phone going on for phone calls. Crypto Hulk on YouTube live stream today in around 4 hours or so. See you there. Free phone calls.
All right. Nice to have that for Crypto Hulk. The next thing that we're going to have on our lineup here in a bit is going to be the Jasmine. But I want to state this. So my perspective in regards to everything you've seen, right? So you saw what was mentioned from myself at the beginning. We showed you some articles from CoinDesk. We show you some videos and so on. You know, one of the main key takeaways basically is like, is this literally by design? Because, you know, you have seen in the past where you have a pullback. Now, my thing is, yes, we're in an accumulation phase, but we're also at a accumulation phase for Wall Street, or, you know, big whales that might be on Wall Street and so on. And when we get into this Jasmine outline here in a bit, yes, it's talking about Jasmine, not necessarily XRP and so on, but you're also going to see a perfect example from Manila Will, where he talks about just that, where things are being moved and so on, right? And I think we're going to get out of this innovation zone personally here soon. But there's other distractions, right? Like what's going on with the SEC and so on. So let's have to see what's going on with that. All right. We're going to read a few more comments, and then we're going to get into the next part, which is Jasmine. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and get back into the comments. We're going to turn on a few banners. All right. There we go. Cool stuff. And let's see here. Let's see if you guys got anything specific. Max, can you read the top 100 for us? No, that will be Larry. I saw you guys the other night. You know, I think it was Mike Cornwell was like, Larry, can you read the top 3,000 for us? No, I could do that. You guys could do that on your own. No offense to Larry, but I know he does that. All right. Din G, what y'all think about Zil Crypto? I still think it's, you know, there's still opportunity there. You know, here's the thing, all right? I used to cover Zilliqa a lot, especially with Metopolis. I will show you guys something in regards to Zilliqa just for a brief moment. And you could take it any way you want, all right? So let's pull that up for just a brief moment. It's good that we're talking about some of this stuff. Excuse me. I think I'm catching something, which is bad. So I'm going to pull up Zilliqa. I still believe it's in the top 100. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Rank 95, right? So here's the thing with Zilliqa, okay? It's been hovering right around 0.0, you know, like this range, 0.2, right? It's always at this range between this and, you know, maybe coming close to 3 cents, but it's been holding this for, oh my God. It's been holding this since it dumped. It had all-time highs back about, I want to say like April. Yeah, April 2021 in regards to Zilliqa. Okay. So its all-time highs was roughly about 22 to 26 cents. I remember this because I remember, you know, FOMOing in, right? I haven't FOMOed into anything since then. You know, it was part of my crypto journey. So I FOMOed in, paid way too much for it and so on. But the key thing is this. What do we know about assets that hold their value, especially through a crypto winter bear market of 2022 to present and so on? What do we know about assets that do this and consistently remain in the top 100? Strengthens the asset, right? There's going to be so much, it creates that much more demand. My thing is this. They need more than just some things mentioned, you know, key highlights, like, for instance, Metopolis. Now, Metopolis did help Zilliqa go to all-time highs. It truly did. All right. That was a perfect case of buy the rumor, sell the news, because this was a brand new metaverse, you know, thing going on. People want to see more footage about it. I leaked out information from the event with some of my top performing videos before I joined up with Larry here at CTN. But my main key takeaway for you is always pay attention to some of these prices and how long it's been at these prices. All they need is something other than just Zilliqa or something else, right? That join their ecosystem. They have a big ecosystem, but something's going to happen. I'll have to double check in regards to that with Zilliqa. But at these prices, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily get into Zilliqa again because I feel as though there's other better opportunities, but at the same time, I'm not dismissing Zilliqa, right? But I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad I can share some of that info with you guys, because let's face it, that would have been about 1 year and 2 months basically, give or take, of these price levels. Okay. It's never been that much more than 3 cents, and it only briefly went below 2 cents, at like a penny 8, I think it was, for a brief amount of time. So, yeah, that's consolidation. That strengthens the asset. They're still in the top 100. They still bring in a decent amount of volume, and we've seen that. All right. So, if you guys got some new info in regards to Zilliqa you'd like to share, by all means do so. Magic Power, in 2019, Gensler still wanted to work as a consultant at Binance. He had applied there. That's a good point. He did apply there. All right. I think I had some info in regards to that, if I'm not mistaken. Or I did. Maybe I already shared it earlier. Yeah, I did already share it earlier. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the next part of our coverage, which is going to be Jasmine. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's jump into Jasmine. Let me see. Is it Jasmine though? Yeah, it is Jasmine. All right, my bad. Here we go. This is from Manila Will, and this is what I was talking about earlier. So you can give Manila Will a follow at Manila Will. Here's a report in regards to Jasmine, and this was posted yesterday. It says in less than 48 hours, 10 million more Jasmine coin are sent to Binance Peg token from the top holder Binance. It says 8, I should say, which is just the address, right? Says 192 million Jasmine sit in this wallet worth roughly 859,000 American dollars. Looks like the real Jasmine growth to him, and a good reason to reverse the move to the innovation zone, right? Because where do they come from? Binance. That's worth pointing out. This guy who I also follow, I think he follows me as well, Baby Angel, supply increased from 177,000 to 202,000, moving out from exchanges. So some people may feel as though like this is not a lot, but it's significant. It's worth paying attention to. Should we get to the point where maybe the next thing that's going to happen is a move out of the innovation zone? I wouldn't count my my eggs before they hatch, as the saying goes, and so on. But or my chickens, I kind of messed that up. But all this is worth paying attention to, and I'm glad that there's people like Manila Will, Baby Angel, and so on paying attention to some of this stuff. Now let's jump into the next part. What we have for Jasmine. This is good stuff. This is perspective. This is great perspective in light of what's happening with the SEC. Shout out to Dip Metaverse. He's probably one of the top guys you should follow if you're really into Jasmine. Okay. He's been bringing it for longer than I have, probably a year, maybe 2 before I have. So he says, Jasmine investors, some thoughts over the last 48 hours. Listen to this. Pay attention to this. This is good stuff. To those outside the U.S., he's sorry our inept regulatory bodies are purposely trying to destroy the crypto market. That's literally what's going on. He thinks the wealthy powers that may want to still control money in our world are basically bleeding regular people out in crypto. And it might be what the SEC is attempting to do, right? A lot of people feel as though that's what they're not just attempting to do. They've been doing it for the longest time. I feel as though that we're soon going to get a Ripple victory, right? And this is just like, a way of like retaliation, let's face it, like you could call it a war between crypto and the SEC and so on. It's like, we're going to lose. Okay. Well, Eric Gensler, what do you want to do with all this? Let's just set it all on fire. Could that be the case? Like it says, who knows? But it says, look at this. Maybe they're giving Wall Street an opportunity to buy the dip. I think you've seen that. They are buying the dip. Pay attention to what's going on the whale charts and stuff like that, right? Some of you guys follow whale activity. We have seen some of those things. I didn't have any that was recent, but maybe by tomorrow we can show you guys what's going on with some of that whale activity. Wall Street firms are hiring for digital asset specialists and setting up trading desks for crypto. It wouldn't be necessary if crypto was going away or if Bitcoin was going to only be the only game in town. They're not. right? We understand there's stocks and so on. Actions speak much louder than words. The U.S. is stifling innovation because it wants control. And that is such a shame. We're supposed to be the country. It's not about control, but you see that, right? And of course, let's face it, for a lot of people, they're big BTC proponents for just, being a BTC maxi and so on. This is the fuel for their debate of, Bitcoin is freedom. You know how many times you've heard that? Well, I'd rather be more diversified, but for people that are literally seeing the crypto world be set on fire, this drives what, guys? More of that, those type of investors to BTC, and that's going to happen. Now, I will state this. Some people feel as though that's bad. I'd rather see more people getting altcoins. No, that's not bad. That's great. Why is it great? Well, we're talking about Jasmine, right? Jasmine runs a correlation with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So as more and more people buy more and more BTC, it is a win for us, even if they are Bitcoin maxis. You better believe that helps with the overall crypto market, because that still represents about 80 to 81% of the overall market. A win for BTC is a win for us who hold these assets, especially built on Ethereum and so on. Another theory, like it says, or let me get to this part above it. Sorry. So U.S. stifling innovation, that happened. He says he feels as though it's hard to believe that the U.S. would just let China, who is warming up to crypto, be the largest player in crypto. Right. Or how about, like what Crypto Hulk mentioned earlier, that one bank in Russia, how they're opening the doors while we're shutting the doors. Don't you find that incredibly interesting? Again, part of my perspective. Another theory, crypto could be used as a debate topic in the 2024 presidential race. I have said numerous times, I feel as though it might not happen in the next, actually it probably won't. But at some point, I said numerous times, I feel as though at some point it just makes sense that after we get over this whole problem that we have with the adoption of crypto and so on, you're going to see through innovation, whether it's our country or other countries, basically doing what? They're going to put the voting system on blockchain. Why would they do that? Because they don't want it to be corrupted. They don't want it to be manipulated. Whether we're a fan of either side, you're Democrat, Republican, and so on, I think for the most part, we don't want to see either side try to make claims, whether they're valid or not, that they're, messing with election results, right? We don't want that. We want real, true elected officials. At least I do. I'm still all about, recognizing that we need a true, proper republic, right? At the end of the day, people say, we're a democratic republic. We're a democracy. No, we're technically supposed to be a republic, right? There is a difference. So my thing is this: I want to see something like this in the future. I want to see your voting system on blockchain, but not to the point where we have, bigger players, right? Who are the puppet masters, right? Again, we need some of that clarity. So this part is somewhat valid, but look what it says. Trump has outright said he's against crypto, which gives Biden an easy opportunity. I don't agree with this part personally. I don't think he's necessarily anti-crypto, but teaches on, which gives Biden an easy opportunity to say he supports crypto, and that could help him gain lots of votes. The SEC keeps your coins from pumping as high as they should with these lawsuits, which makes you less wealthy and more likely to be reliant on the government, and you're forced to vote accordingly. Wendy O, on her show earlier, her recorded video, she pointed out some of these things. And one of the things she mentioned was basically, you are basically suppressing entrepreneurial spirit and so on, right? You're literally wrecking entrepreneurs. We're all entrepreneurs, right? You don't have to be majored in entrepreneurship and so on. We are all entrepreneurs. We see the bigger picture, right? So SEC is definitely suppressing that. There's a reason why Gensler never went after FTX. Yeah, think about that for a second, right? There's a reason for it. How about this? Why didn't Kevin O'Leary publicly just denounce Sam Bankman-Fried? He didn't do that. If anything, he always spoke very highly of Sam Bankman-Fried at every single opportunity he had to do so, right? And that was incredibly annoying, at least in my opinion. And just downright, just awful. And I lost a lot of respect for him. But look what it says here. Just wait for when they start attacking CZ Binance for being a Chinese Canadian. That's when you know they are desperate, and you will know which side of the media is peddling that garbage. Sorry for getting political, but it starts to feel like all of the news you've been getting and events that have been taking place over the last few years feel staged, right? Whether you agree with that or not. He thinks Coinbase will win. Coinbase sought the SEC's help before, but didn't get any guidance, right? Ineptitude. Maybe this is an ongoing thing like XRP lawsuit that is allegedly going to be decided soon. But believe it. We'll believe it when we see it. Right, we will. Either way, he thinks there's a long line of people who want to beat the SEC for being as crooked as they are. Gensler's term ends in 2026, and it would be a hell, it would be quite the ride, right? We're going to go through hell in regards to that. The crypto money laundering narrative Elizabeth Warren has been spreading is so far from the truth. It says that's fiat. It says, for instance, she's desperate. Don't forget this woman who lied about being more Native American than she was to make a point. She even blamed crypto for the failure of SVB, right? Silicon Valley Bank. We know about the story, right? But it says she's an unsuccessful politician, and this time will be no different. She will lose. And knowing that, she doesn't really truly understand the concept of, distributed ledger technology, blockchain, and so on. She just focuses on, like what she mentioned in that MSNBC interview, right? It just doesn't make any sense. She simply doesn't get it. It says, don't forget, governments want you to be poor, so you rely on them. Over the past few years, crazy conspiracy theorists about things like the U.S. has done to its people have been true and somewhat close. Surprisingly, Elon Musk buying Twitter allowed for the other side that was suppressed in the previous regime to actually speak, right? Talking about, he's pro First Amendment. He is. There's always an underlying reason why the government, not just the U.S. government, does something and doesn't tell its people the truth. This attack won't go away. The funny thing is they have congressmen committing insider trading on a regular basis, but the SEC hasn't done anything about that. Right. They're not going to go after those people because Gary Gensler and the SEC represent what? The special interest of just that. Those people. They're off limits. Right? He's literally their puppet. They are the puppet masters. Gary cannot win. He's a beady-eyed weasel. He is. We call him a gopher for a reason. Who is delusional in thinking he's protecting investors. Some projects do not have a place in our world, but he'd rather just say all projects are bad and kill it all, to the exception of Bitcoin. And again, like I mentioned earlier, that's very, very peculiar, to say the least, right? It's about keeping people poor and relying on the US dollar. Think about it for a minute. If you look at the bigger picture, does that make sense? I think it does. Why would you want something like fiat that your home government can just print more of? And you saw them print more of it, right? We had a raise of the debt ceiling. For all these people that said we're never going to get a debt ceiling increase, it's different this time around. You got to wake up. It's not this different time around. It's a Band-Aid that you cover another Band-Aid and another Band-Aid, and you literally just open up the entire box of Band-Aid, and you keep putting more and more Band-Aids on a problem that is now, where are we at now? 34 trillion in national debt. Remember at the beginning of the century, how it was a big deal that we were 8 trillion in debt and how both sides went after each other, Yeah. Democrats went after Republicans. Republicans went after Democrats. But they both do it. They both raise the debt ceiling. All right, so we can't get rid of fiat outright, but we can definitely rely on it a little less. True. The will of the people is always stronger than the government. Don't ever forget that. We are the ones who make the economy go round. They need us, whether it's for votes, money, or to be guinea pigs for any new medications. They need us. If you get rich in this market, you absolutely deserve it. We all absolutely deserve it. Don't forget what you hold. Don't forget the reasons why you hold it. If the research trumps any type of FUD, then understand this. There's another side that wants to scare you out of what you own. Why would they want to do that? Because they will sweep in and basically do what? Accumulate those assets for distressed prices. Cannot stress that enough. You also see that going on in the market. No one can tell you otherwise. We will win. But the ones that are going to win are those, just like you, me, and some of the other guys, that saw that this is not just a journey, it's also a race. It's a marathon. It's like a decathlon, if you will, or, it's a long, long, long race. And there's many who quit this race. But it's the ones that finish the race because they kept what they had and understood there's a bigger picture, right? If you quit, you're never going to get to that finish line. That applies to a lot of things in this world. I want to kick it back to what we have in the comments here in a bit. I'm having a hard time breathing. My asthma is driving me crazy. So if it seems like I'm struggling, I am struggling. All right. I have flare-ups every once in a while. It's been a while since I had some flares, but I'm really having a hard time. Later on, I'm going to have to grab my inhaler. I haven't used it in a long time, but anyway. XRP Army is in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Selmo Fudd. Do appreciate you. Magic CZ told Gensler to suck it. He did. And good for him, whether some of us feel as though that like CZ's a bad player and so on. You never know. Here's the thing. The SEC wants to divert our attention to somebody else. Get the target off of Gensler. Think about this, right? You're with your cronies. Let's say you're Sam Bankman-Fried. Not Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, he's one of them. Gary Gensler. You say to your little conglomerate group of people, look, let's get the target off my head, please. Thank you. When I applied to, Binance years ago in 2019, let's shift the focus to this guy. Let's make him the scapegoat. Everybody focuses on him. People panic. People sell. And it snowballs from there. Dingy, I have been staking a bag of ZIL on KuCoin for a year. So bullish. Nice. All right. Tim Shea says, just say no to Hex. So many better plays, Max. Yeah, but the way I look at it is like previously, right? It didn't take long for it to 5x. That's the way I'm looking at it. I do like having some short-term plays. I have so many long-term plays. So many of you guys have great long-term plays, but we should have some ones that are short-term. Maybe that's where you say, well, duh, Max, you missed the boat. You should have done PayPay. There's your short-term play. Maybe it was. I don't know. But I'm not sweating. I've had other short-term plays I did well on, which was Filecoin. Basically, before Gary Gensler just labeled it as a security. God. Anyway, let's go further down. You got flexible staking. That's good, Tim. They're pushing Pulse Chain instead of well, they've been pushing Pulse Chain for a long time, right? Dingy, Jasmine 42% down this month and looks like it keeps dipping. I basically saw it at 0.003839. Of course, some of the fudders that just lighted up their fuel to the fire. And I said to myself, oh crap, I gotta get back because I got my new phone. I don't even have my apps on my new phone yet. I have them on my old phone. And I was like, I need to take advantage of that. And by the time I was literally going to take advantage of it, it's already up. So I'm paying attention to what's going on. And if we get back down to threes, I'm being honest. I'm not going to tell you what you should do. But for me, at 0.0038, I think we saw it briefly. Are you kidding me? That's like 100,000 Jasmine for roughly 380. Let's face it, with the fees and so on, because we have to go. Some of us have to go through third parties depending on where we live. You add up the fees, so basically about $400, then you're gonna get 100,000 Jasmine. Like for me personally, that gets me closer to my goals of 1 million Jasmine. That's just my own personal goals. I'm never gonna tell anybody like you got to put like 10 grand into Jasmine. No, I'm never do that. Glad to see that we ticked up in the 40s. Please smash the like if you haven't done so already. We're about an hour and a half into the show. Anyone here own Hex crickets? I understand that, Brian, but my thing is I'm not trying to be like, a big proponent of Hex and I'm going to come on camera every day. Oh, yeah, I'm a Hexican. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of why I pay attention to any distressed asset. Voyager in the past, some of the other things recently and so on, right? There's always opportunities when it comes to distressed assets. I never did get into Celsius, but there's still opportunities there. There still might be, right? DOGE says will probably fall as lower than it was. I think so. Jasmine's cheap, but can't pull the trigger. Did you ever get into Jasmine, Brian? I don't know if you did. If it's none of my business, that's okay too. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I don't expect everybody to share what they want. They don't have to. J Cryptic, hello all. My opinion, Hex is a pyramid scam token. That is a lot of the recent narrative that's been going on. A lot of people have been saying that, like they feel as though that Richard Hart is, I think somebody called him instead of Richard Hart, they called him Richard Ponzi or something like that. I'm not saying necessarily it is, but I am looking at it from the perspective of, I mean, come on, guys. Even FTT, like some people say, why would you want to buy FTT? At bottom, we have noticed that you still have these random pumps and so on. And the way I look at it is, it's worth paying attention to. All right. Okay. Same with you, River. That's okay. All right. You got some little XLM and algo. That's good. Mr. Burns. All right. Dingy says, I'm going to be broke real quick if I keep putting money in investment that keeps falling. Yeah. You don't want to catch a falling knife, but I don't really think it's necessarily a falling knife because, I mean, a falling knife is just a blatant rug pull, right? That's what I do. I basically do the DCA, and I don't beat myself up about it, I will state this in favor of Boomer F and Sooner. How about them fighting Boomer Sooners? Softball team, 53-game win streak, and now back-to-back national championships. Well, congrats to your Boomer Sooners. And you are the one and only Boomer F and Sooner. Casp and Jasmine for the win. I probably should take advantage of getting some Casp at these prices. But kind of like, what Tim Shea was mentioning, right? There's other opportunities, right? Yes. And for me, I have to make my short list an extremely short list. Fell by 30%. Interesting. All right, I'll read this from Sumophobe. We'll get into the next part of our coverage because we need to do so. Gary Gensler is like Clarence Beeks from Trading Places, losing out to Pork Bellies and OJ. Man, Trading Places, that was a good movie. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. Who was it? What's her name? That was in True Lies and a bunch of other movies. The girl with the great, what I'm talking about back then. Anyway. All right, so let's get into what we have. A little bit more. So we did cover some of the Jasmine. I do see I have a DM. All right, let's share this from Tim Shea. Why not? Until we get in the next part. All right. This comes from the one and only Tim Shea. Where's Cody Core? He's probably not here. Mr. Tim Shea. All right. Here it says, breaking news. Let me see if that's zoomed in right. Breaking news. Gary Gensler has been charged with market manipulation. My God, really? Coinbase provides evidence of Gary Gensler placing over 2.5 million in BTC shorts in just 48 hours. My God. That is breaking. At 7:34 a.m. Let me see what's going on with that. So can we find out more information? Breaking news. 2.5. All right. I'm going to see if I can find anything about this. Gary Gensler shorting BTC. Can we pull up anything? Maybe this is from the same thing. Let me see. There's a little bit more in regards. Yeah, we got something. All right. This comes from Crypto Rank. This is maybe people won't want me. I don't care. I'm a mission anyway. I mean, I have nothing against this guy. Let me stop screen. So this is one of the news outlets that Crypto Hulk gets a lot of his news, believe it or not. Anyway, all right. So it says rumor. Okay, nothing verified, but it's worth paying attention to. So it says rumor: Gary Gensler accused of market manipulation, 2.5 million short position. Let's see here. I'm just trying not to read the stuff that we have read already, right? Allegations are unverified, but it'd be quite interesting if it was verified, right? There's, of course, been that petition. I even signed that petition. All right, according to a source who named Capo WSB, Capo? What is this, Sopranos and his Capos? Anyway. Coinbase, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, is rumored to have the evidence that Gensler placed substantial short positions in BTC, right? Like what Tim was mentioning. Over 2.5 million barely 48 hours ago. Although the specifics of this information have yet to be made public, the evidence is believed to be solid. And enough to warrant serious examination and further research. Gensler has been charged with market manipulation. Charged by who? All right. The potential consequences of these claims extend beyond Gary Gensler's career. They could also threaten the credibility of the SEC, and boom, that would be amazing because we need. I don't know. In my opinion, they're a joke at this point. Not just Gensler, just the SEC in general. The primary regulatory organization for financial security markets in the United States is chairperson of the SEC. Gensler is responsible for ensuring fair and transparent markets. However, it is important to keep in mind that these are only allegations at this point. Yeah, we get that. All right, let's see what else is here. Capo WSB said that this is not the first time that Gary Gensler has been accused of influencing the markets by using information that is not publicly available. That's interesting too. Just double checking some settings. Multiple reports from August 2022 demonstrate instances where he allegedly engaged in market manipulation, similar to those described earlier. However, it is important to note that these accusations are also unverified this time. The allegations against Gensler are serious and could have far-reaching consequences. It's important to conduct a thorough investigation. Yeah, we get that. Give a neutral perspective. Does anybody really have a neutral perspective when it comes to Gary Gensler? I mean, I understand in the past, people said, even was it Happy Caddy Crypto, right? Shout out to him. Remember the whole thing with Terra Luna? Everyone's just like, Do Quant, he's guilty as all hell. And, Happy Caddy was one of those guys like, look, guys, we're being really responsible. Stay neutral. We got to see the evidence. I get that. But really? I mean, is there really any proponents here that's in favor to stay neutral when it comes to Gary Gensler? I mean, come on. Really? Not really. At the time of writing, BTC is trading, of course, it's different right now. All right, so that was worth sharing. Thanks to Tim Shea for sharing that. There's a beautiful shot of your one and only Gary the Gopher Gensler. All right, we're going to leave that up there for just a brief moment. Hope he doesn't scare anybody away. P9 says loading up on XLM and Shiba at the moment. Cool stuff. Thug Life, Dog Pound, Thug Life. You know how we do this, Back in the day, listen to 90s hip hop, Tupac, Dog Pound, right? Then she says Crypto Hulk is a drunk half the time, and the other times he's on drugs with illusions. I don't know about that, but maybe the drunk part. I don't know about the drugs though. I can't say that too much. We don't want to get shut down by YouTube because they get in a hissy fit. That's all we need. Another copyright, or not copyright strike. You're in violation of YouTube Security Act, Section 4 of Article 5-6, written by the Honorable Gary Gensler, that states you cannot do this. All right. Elon Muff says, boom, what's up? Well, good to see you, Mr. Muff. The Muff is in the house. Smash that like. All right. Dingy, drunk, high, he's still spot on. That's true. I mean, he could pull something right off the page like nobody else's business. Abdul Jawad to the moon. Your homies in the house. That's good. Shout out to Ahmed and Abdul Jawad. Total douche while he does it. I will agree with you on that. All right. I hope you're right about this, or we are all delusional. I honestly think we are. I mean, if we're all delusional about this, then let's face it, I guess we're all going to get wrecked together, right? All of us, all going to get massively wrecked. No, Max, don't say that. Don't ever say that. Well, that's what's going on, right? I don't think we're going to get massively wrecked, but if a person came into Bitcoin at 11/11/2021 at 69K, they got massively wrecked, right? And if people bought the top of the mountain on anything, they got wrecked. What are we doing right now? We're trying to accumulate, right? But it's still part of the DCA. Everybody wants to buy the bottom, the true bottom of everything, right? Some people do it, some people don't. GS, he's okay. I don't take him all that seriously. All right, let's go further down. XLM about to melt, as in faces. Brian Dowdy says, I don't give a ish if he's, I guess, a snowflake. He drinks. He does a good deep dive. On Caroline? Interesting. All right. Just like I mentioned Caroline, and we lost the people that we had. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight this from Selmo Flood as a bookmark. I'm going to check the other screen, make sure that we didn't lose anybody. I think we're good. All right, so let's jump into the next part of what we have. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. Yeah, so let's get into what we have. We shared a little bit of Jasmine with you. We have just a brief Quant segment. Now, I want to state this, and maybe you guys know about this already, so I'm going to share this first before we jump into the Quant news. I have some news, sad news to share in regards to Quant Papa. Okay, so I put out a tweet in regards to Quant Papa, I believe the other day. Let me get to it. And I would appreciate you guys, even if you feel as though that like no one's going to see it, Elon Musk, it'd be a miracle if he sees it. It's okay. The point is just try to help if you can. But I'm going to show you the tweet that I sent out. Some of you guys saw it. Some of you didn't. It's okay. Where the heck is this? Where is this? This is ridiculous. Why can't I find this? All right. Let me do it a different way. I'm sure somebody has liked the tweet. I can find it here in just a moment. But anyway, I'm sure I have it. Let me see where it's at. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull this up. Here it is. I found it. Let's share this. All right. So, Quant Papa. I said, at Elon Musk, please free Quant_Papa. Thank you. All right. Look what it says. Account suspended. He has messaged me. He does not understand why his account's been suspended. He can't figure out if there's anything specific that he did to get his account suspended. But it's so disappointing. This guy, like he mentioned, he put in like over 3,000 hours worth of research, tons of chopped up videos and so on. He's received, backlash from, Flutters. Maybe a bunch of Flutters came together and reported him as a spammer, you know what I mean? And it's just part of the algorithm or some kind of mechanism in Twitter that if you get so many complaints, it will just, do that. I don't know. If that's the case, that's pretty freaking messed up. So all I'm saying is this: if you want and you appreciated all the content from Quant Papa, try to retweet this, get the info out. I'm going to try to look more into it, see if there's like a Twitter support or something, try to help him out and so on. But it's so messed up. I mean, the way I look at it is like, what if I got banned from crypto Twitter, right? Like, I'll have to find other avenues to bring you guys the info. I guess I could still obviously bring the info, just make another account, but it is so disappointing when you put your heart and soul into something. He's obviously very passionate about Quant. And so, he's been sending me DMs on ctnnetwork.net. I'm glad to see that that's at least being used in that light. But you could tell that, he's very, very down and depressed about it. He's trying not to think about it. He's just like, I'm going to take a break. But the guy needs to have his account lifted. And I did mention, Crypto Mike Cornwall said that, he's had his account suspended. So, Mike, if you could do me a favor in the comments, let me know, like, How long did it take for you to get your account, lifted, like unsuspended? And or anybody else, right? I understand you made multiple accounts, but it sucks, man. Even for some of my outlines, I haven't been able to do proper outlines because a lot of the stuff I had was, some of the clips from him or some of the research from him. I miss that guy, and it just sucks to see that, man. If you put your heart and love and passion to anything and have somebody rug you like that, that's so messed up. All right, so this is on crypto Twitter. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just retweet it again. There it is. You can definitely retweet it yourself. I would appreciate it. Don't really make a lot of requests from you guys, but I would appreciate that. All right, I'm going to jump into what we have for our coverage for Quant. Share this tab instead. All right, so this comes from this guy right here. We're both following each other, Keta. And you remember a while back, I basically mentioned, Quant and the Rockefellers. I did a deep dive, right? Well, check this out. You may not be aware of this. A little bit more in regards to the Rockefellers. Board of Director for Quant, Mr. Dietrich, who was previously a managing director at Rockefeller Capital Management. Rockefeller Capital Management have $100 billion in assets under management. Why would somebody like this connected to the Rockefellers want to even mess with Quant, right? Again, it's so crazy when I see people like dismissing Quant, because ERC20 token, or they'll state things like, these guys are doing evil and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So it says, for instance, I literally cannot tell you how bullish I actually am, right? And who's the guy? His name is Guy Dietrich. I think I talked about him in the past. I'll try to blow up a little bit more of what we have here. Let's just do that right now. And here it is. Let's up a little bit more. Guy Dietrich, right? Let's make sure it's in the frame. It is. He has over 35 years of investment experience and is responsible for advising, listen to this, guys, ultra high net worth clients. Well, of course, he's a freaking Rockefeller, for crying out loud, right? Says family offices, foundations, and endowments. Mr. Dietrich was previously a managing director at Rockefeller Capital Management from 2018 to 2019. Prior to joining Rockefeller, he led the largest private wealth management practice. I'll read that again. He led the largest private wealth management practice for Morgan Stanley Smith Barney in Silicon Valley. Wow. Now we talk about big players or whales, and where their money is going and what tokens they're acquiring and so on. Then you have examples like this. This is big, in my opinion, right? So it was worth sharing. It's just a quick little snippet in regards to Quant. Don't really have anything else for Quant tonight. At least I don't think so. I'll double check. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool stuff. I think there's a couple more things in regards to him. And that is this right here. Some of you guys know about this. It says, what if I told you he's not even remotely the most bullish board member? I give you Neil Smith. We have done deep dive about Neil Smith, former CEO of Comcast, a Fortune 50 company. But again, there's so many of these big players are part of Quant. That's what's impressive. All right, I'm going to kick it back into the comments for a bit. We're about approaching the 2-hour mark. We still have a little bit more info for you guys. Let me see what else is going to be next. So next on the lineup is going to be Stellar's XLM. We have some new news for you guys, and then we'll jump into a little bit of XDC. All right. Glad to see Mr. Muff is saying what's up to Brian. Calls him the Brain Dow. Brian the Brain Dowie. That's a good nickname. Aquaman, I'm a member of Hulk's channel, so I can say hello to him for you. Ooh, Squidward. LOL. All right. Hello to Mr. Edward Vincent, aka Squidward. Hello, Mr. Ice Cube. God. Okay. Thanks. All right. I missed a super sticker. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see it come on the other screen, man. That is so bad. Henry Brown, you're probably gone by now. You're probably like, what the heck, Max? I don't know why that doesn't pop up like it should pop up like normal. So it didn't, man. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the $3 super sticker. Sorry it took so long to get around to it. All I got to say is this. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to double check some settings of why they didn't show up like it did. But I know on super chats, it does highlight it. I don't know why it's not highlighting the super stickers. I don't know if that's just a YouTube problem, but I'm really sorry about that. Thank you again. And I don't even know if you're still here, but thank you. All right. Let me just double check the other screen, making sure I didn't lose anything else. I didn't. All right. Let's go further down in the comments. Henry Brown says lawmaker calls SEC enforcement actions against crypto exchanges complete contempt for Congress. Elon Musk is saying hello to Latex Larry, written in Quake 3 or, Counter-Strike language, being a, Elite 1337. Remember that back in the day? I'm sure you do. You used to play those games. I know you remember that. Brian Dowie, sell, just wait until crypto regs come. All right, I'll read a few more. I want to welcome Cash Cats. Good to see Cash. Thank you for your ongoing support. Thank you for commenting on a recorded video. That was cool. Cash Cats is a new member. That's awesome. Thank you, Cash. That's really cool. I don't know if you bought that or you gifted from, who was it, Patrick Collier, but that's super cool. Congratulations. Welcome. Glad to have you, man. I'll read this from Henry Brown because he deserves to have some comments read, especially since I was late to his super chat. South Korea and the United States are seeking Quant's extradition on charges linked to the collapse of digital tokens he created, an implosion that blew up at least $40 billion, according to Bloomberg. Thanks for that CTN satellite reporting from the one and only Henry Brown. Tim Shea says, Henry, they should have just locked up Gensler. I'm sure he was involved in all that. Brian Dowie says, Max, I'm a pink taco Inu whale. Nice. All right. Good for you. All right. Gensler short 2.5 million in Bitcoin, then announced that. All right. I'll read two more comments. One from Denji. Can Jasmine run on XRP, XLM, or Algo instead of Ethereum? Asking for a friend. With interoperability through Quant's Overledger, that's why I was pointing that out earlier. And, even though Mr. Bellwether wants to say that's a stretch, it's not a stretch. And the reason why it's not a stretch is because of the Hyperledger fabric. And I will be getting into a deep dive that will reaffirm some of my findings, because you better believe I'm going to bring it big time in that deep dive for Jasmine. You're not going to want to miss that. I have some things that I recently found, and it's all going to make sense. Even some exclusive recordings from people at Hyperledger. Yes, you're not going to want to miss that. No, I'm not going to stick here and stay another 2 hours to do on a live show. I'm not going to do that because it's going to be too long. I don't want to make it WrestleMania. But yes, it can definitely do that, but they need to make things happen. And some people, of course, that's what we're going to say, well, this is never going to happen. They're not talking to each other. I don't care. But the point is this. Overledger has support for Hyperledger Fabric, and that can be done if the two would just simply get together and make that happen. But whatever. All right. Dingy, no, it's ERC20 token, only Ethereum or BRC. Magic Power, I hear where you're coming from. With all due respect, I'm telling you flat out, with Hyperledger Fabric through Overledger from Quant, that can happen. I wasn't just trying to make a super cool video because it's a video and try to, some people say, you're just trying to make a video, No, it has been confirmed. That can happen. But again, as far as those two sides talking to each other, that may never happen. I don't know. But the key thing is, like I mentioned, through Overledger, that can definitely happen because they have Hyperledger Fabric support. They just need to get the deal done. As far as how much that would cost, I don't know. I don't know how much it would cost. We understand there's licensing fees and so on. At this particular point, might not be in the best interest because of what's happened recently with Jasmine to get that done. But you better believe that would be huge in the future. by the time they go to like say like a top 50 token with all the extra money, if it was me and I was running the whole thing, I would want to do that. To me, that would make sense. Right now, if they can prove Goldman Gensler shorted Bitcoin, that would be game changer. All right. One last comment, and then I'm going to kick it back to the outline. Sean Francis, let's go Kunatake Ando. Yes. All right. Thank you, John Francis, for being here. Let's kick it into what we have for some of the outline. I almost said for Jasmine. It's going to be in regards to Stellar's XLM. All right. So let's jump into this. Here we go. I did give this guy a shout out earlier. He gave me a reply back, which was cool because I did put out a Stellar video. How does Stellar enable cross-border transfers? We're always talking about cross-border payments for XRP and XLM. But 2 cents, how is this done, right? We're not going to read all this, but I do want to show you this thread because, it is from alp.web3, formerly known as .lsp. I'm telling you flat out, this guy is probably the only content creator out there that does daily coverage for Stellar. That earns my respect. It should earn your respect too if you hold Stellar. So in this thread, he gets into a few key things. He says Stellar is designed to connect all financial systems around the world into a single network. It will allow anyone to create, transmit, and trade digital representations of money in any form. Stellar's network consists of distributed servers running distributed ledgers. The ledger records all transactions on the network and updates every 2 to 5 seconds. This means that transactions are confirmed almost instantly and securely. I'll read this one more time, this other one, and then I'll kick it further down because I don't want to read all of it verbatim. Stellar's ledger also supports smart contracts, which are self-executing contracts that can encode different conditions and outcomes. For example, a smart contract can automatically exchange one currency for another at a given rate, right? We know that. All right, so let's jump further down here. I like this part real quick. It says Stellar's network also features decentralized exchange DEX, right? And we're going to show you some recent projects that has some updates from the Stellar Foundation here in a bit. But yes, in regards to DEXs. So it says, a platform where users can trade any asset on the network with users. DEX uses an order book system that matches buyers and sellers based on their preferences. Stellar's network also supports various payment protocols such as SEP24 and SEP31, enabling seamless integration between different platforms and services. These protocols allow users to deposit, withdraw fiat currency, send and receive payments, and much, much more. Now, we're going to jump into to this recent thing that was posted. I believe it was posted today. Yep, today is June 8th. So let's share this tab instead. This is from Founder Journey's Mary Sirocco. She's the co-founder and CEO of LATAM. It says, we often talk about blockchain solutions bringing real-world utility to those who need it the most, right? And that's my key thing, like I've always mentioned when it comes to Stellar. In the future, I believe, though, that this is going to be the one that's going to be used on a massive scale for people just like, let's face it, when they were first introduced to crypto, even us, can I use this to buy groceries? Can I use this to buy gas? Can I use this for paying bills? You name it, right? I feel as though that still Stellar in the future, depending on how many years away that is, will be the one that's used for all this. Now, here's a perfect example. Like I said, we often talk about the blockchain solutions bringing real-world utility to those who need it the most, but we don't talk about the brilliant minds building these solutions nearly enough. The second of our founder stories covers Mary Sirocco, co-founder and CEO of LATAM. Mary's career at financial institutions such as UBS and the World Bank Group has taken her around the world, but she has felt connected to her home in Argentina. To open greater economic opportunities for those in her home region, she co-founded, LATAM. Listen to this. They are the largest fiat gateway where in Latin America. That's worth paying attention to. Smash that like. Let's hear what she has to share. A minute and a half. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Mary Sirocco. I'm the founder and CFO of LATAM, the largest fiat gateway in LATAM for Latin America. We focus on cross-border payments in the region. At one point, I experienced repeatedly this same situation where I am in a foreign place and I need to pay in a foreign currency. I realized that this has a tremendous amount of friction. And opening a bank account abroad has a lot of requirements. So you're in this triangle of infinity where to open a bank account, you need to have a proof of address, but in order to rent an apartment, you need to have a bank account. So it's one of both that you need to have first, the chicken and the egg problem. And at that time, I said, how can it be that I am not the true owner of my money, which is in the bank? And I need to keep on calling the bank for them to allow me to use my own funds. So that, combined with the fact that my brother talked to me about Stellar, was like my aha moment at that time. And I said, wow, this is where we need to go. This is where I should put all my effort in and concentrate on providing the blockchain technology for people in Latin America, that's where I am from, where this could create a massive impact on the day-to-day lives of everybody.
And if it can create a massive impact on the day-to-day lives of anybody and everybody, especially for that region, the point is this: word gets sent out like wildfire, right? When it comes to the whole topic of, for instance, word of mouth, right? This worked in this region. Okay, let's try to have this work in that other region. And what we also know when it comes to Latin America, Quant has a big, profound impact in Latin America through LACchain, right? And we covered that many times. So these are regions of the world that are very, very well impacted the most when it comes to this. And the way I look at it is, again, here in the United States, it might not be a game changer yet, but when you get the examples of other places in the world who are using these technologies and they're solving problems, for instance, of situations where, you know, people just don't have access. I'm talking about flat out, they don't have access to things that we take for granted. You provide a solution, there becomes an answer, people react upon it, and so on. Those are game-changing type of things. And the way I look at it when it comes to XLM at these particular prices, I understand what they're building and where the future is going when it comes to this. I always see every now and then somebody, male or female, especially when you go to other shows and so on, they'll point out, and you just look at the chart. Oh, there hasn't been much going on with this. Are you really invested into XLM for the short term? It's shocking. I'm not invested into XLM for the short term. It is one of the best long-term plays for me personally, not financial advice. All right. The next part I want to show you real quick is a little bit more from the Stellar Foundation. Since we're on the topic of Stellar, and that is this right here. I'll come back into the frame for a brief moment. I'm gonna give you a little heads up on what happened. So this was posted on June 5th, right? Only about 3 days ago. It's still pretty fresh from the Stellar Foundation. I can play the whole thing for you because it's 41 minutes. You're more than welcome to look into this yourself. It says solving last mile payments for the new digital economy webinar with Artem, right? Now it says Priscilla Ma, ecosystem growth lead at SDF, as in Stellar Development Foundation. Lisa Nestor, chief strategy officer at Artem, and Manuel Hacken, vice president of growth at Artem, explore how closing the gap on last mile payments, listen to this, in a digital economy helps enterprises expand into new geographies. I'm going to play roughly, 6 to 7 minutes of this, and we'll kick it back into the comments. Smash the like if you haven't done so already. Here we go.
Thanks, Manu, and thanks everyone for being here. We have an exciting topic that's near and dear to all three of us here on stage, and hopefully you guys too. So I'm thrilled to be speaking with Lisa, Chief Strategy Officer at AirTM, about solving last mile payments for the digital economy. So just before we dive into it, quick intros. I'm Priscilla from the Stellar Development Foundation, and I work with businesses including fintechs, remittance, and payment companies that build on top of Stellar to leverage the capabilities of the Stellar network and also digital assets. And AirTM is a prime example of how Stellar is used behind the scenes to help create economic freedom. So before we dive into it, I'll let Lisa give a brief introduction about herself as well as about AirTM.
Cool. Thank you very much, Priscilla. And thanks to everybody who's joining us here today. As Priscilla mentioned, I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at AirTM. AirTM is a digital dollar account and payments platform that helps digital entrepreneurs and the companies that pay them operate in the world. So I've been at AirTM about a year or about a year and a half now, which has been a really exciting ride. And prior to that, I had the pleasure of working with you, Priscilla, and also many others at the Stellar Development Foundation. So I was at Stellar for about 5.5 years and got great insight into digital assets, the Stellar Ledger, how all of those things work. And so it's been quite an adventure for me getting to then move to a company that's leveraging Stellar for real products with real users every day. And yeah, I guess that's my background. I'll just share that I also love the AirTM mission. It's something that really, I guess, attracted me to the company. And I think it's also something that is very much around the mission of the Stellar Development Foundation as well, which is kind of supporting economic access and financial freedom. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. Excited to dive into this discussion.
Awesome. And I know that we at the SDF are glad that you haven't strayed too far from the tree. So I know you and I have talked a lot about money flows and the challenges for those in the digital economy, but let's take it back to basics. What exactly do we mean when we say digital economy? And the second part of that is what is different about their payment needs?
Absolutely. So, I did what people do, which is looked up the definition. And so the digital economy is kind of formally described by Deloitte as the economic activity that results from billions of everyday online connections among people and businesses, devices, data, and processes. So at AirTM, we really think of this as being an online economy. It's where really a borderless world exists, where individuals can find work or businesses can find labor. And I think it's a big paradigm shift because no longer do you have to just kind of go to the big city or look in your local town for real economic opportunities. If you have access to the internet, there's this new global economy that you can really plug into. I think a paradigm for me that's useful in thinking about this is how, in the 90s and the 2000s, the internet really dramatically impacted how businesses could interact with consumers. Online shopping, being able to see products online and all of these things. And I think in the past decade or two, there's been a really, big impact by the internet and the web on helping businesses to access human labor and human talent online in a way that they really didn't before. So I would say the prime example that a lot of people typically think about when they think about the digital economy is freelancers. And, I would say over the last decade, there's been a huge rise in the number of freelancers and the use of freelancers by businesses. I checked and there's over 70 million freelancers reported globally in 2022. So a huge labor market. But I would say freelancers is really the tip of the iceberg when we think about kind of workers in the digital economy. Another example, content creator. There's actually over 200 million content creators that were kind of identified in 2022, which is crazy. And a lot of those are small earning content creators, but that's a huge industry and cited over $5 billion worth of income that was generated by content creators. And when you think about these individuals, they're broadcasting online, connecting to global audiences, but they all live somewhere local and need to take that money home, right? And I guess the last kind of segment that I would identify, freelancers, content creators, is this world of online taskers. Think about AI, the rise of AI. How do we train those models? How do we create or collect that data that's being used? There is a huge industry of individuals who earn small amounts of money doing what we call tasks online. And so, when at AirTM, this is our core client, like these freelancers, content creators, online taskers who go online to earn money. Or increasingly, it's the businesses that want to pay them or the businesses that want to interact with them. And so you ask Priscilla, like, what's the kind of unique needs for the digital economy and people that are in them? And what I would say is that it's kind of 4 core things that I think of. One, both the businesses and the individuals, they want to get paid in a global currency. 2, oftentimes with this type of work, it's not like a fixed salary. It's not every 2 weeks you get your paycheck. It's much more, I do a job, I want to get paid. So there's a much more kind of variability in terms of the disbursement of payments. 3, oftentimes, especially when I'm talking about things like the task or industry, these are smaller payments. This isn't my monthly paycheck. This is, I just completed some task and I want to take that money home. Oftentimes this can be $5, $10. And I would say another thing is that a lot of the labor that is being leveraged when we think about freelancers, when we think about taskers globally, they also tend to be from complicated local economies where payments can be complex, especially when we're talking about international payments. So I guess what I would say is that there are very specific needs to these individuals. And that's really what AirTM focuses on, making the payment experience between a business and its global workforce or global community very seamless, but then making sure that end recipient has great flexibility, can take their money out fast, they can do any size transactions, and there's not super high fixed costs that make it uneconomical for them to actually take the money home that they've earned online.
Right.
All right, so I want to share that with you guys. We're going to get more into this outline and why it is brought to your attention here in a bit. I did miss some more super chats. Apparently, it didn't come across my screen. Really apologize for that. I'm so sorry. Henry Brown with a $2 super chat says it's a big club and you ain't in it. George Carlin. Thank you again for the super chat. Your super sticker earlier, Henry Brown. So sorry that it took so long to get to this. I was starting to get like the worst headache. I don't know if it's a migraine or what. I'm gonna try to grind through it, but man, it's brutal right now. I don't know. I was coughing like crazy earlier because my asthma flare up. I don't know if it has something to do with that. Man, it's just really, it's bad, but it's all right. I'm gonna be okay. I'll just try not to think about it. All right, let's go further down. Just kind of want to complete the outline too. Henry Brown says Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter target of EU crypto or European Union crypto advertising complaint. Sorry if I missed anybody's comments earlier. Apologize for that. JG, hey Max, Algorand, hell of a buy right now. It is. Yeah, it is. For me, it's like, yeah, I'm so tempted to just, grab a few more bags of Jasmine, get to these goals. But I think Algorand might be the one I get my second bag of finally. And I already have a pretty decent sized bag of Algo to begin with. So that just makes sense. There's some other ones that really obviously make sense. All right. Andrew Dice Clay. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. Your favorite, but Carlin was right up there. Thank you, Tim Shea. Appreciate you as well. I mean, I know that things have not been, up to par lately here. I've been trying to help Larry with his internet problems. I had to get with him and try to maybe try out some other things and so on. We got to get this thing figured out. I think I might have a spare router that's like new. We're going to have to figure that out because, I understand where he comes from because, you get excited to do a show and you want to make it, good. And if your internet's not good and it's constantly buffering, I can understand people getting upset about that. If I was a viewer, I'd be upset too. I'd be like, man, what the heck? But, it's also upsetting for him because it's like, it just kind of takes the wind out of your sails, right? Sorry, Max, it's the fire. Inca. Interesting. GT. Max, can the SEC shut Coinbase down till the lawsuit is over? I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know if they have that necessary power. But what was mentioned earlier in the show, right, is that Coinbase operates knowing fully that these are securities. So my answer is going to need to be yes. Here's another thing I want to bring up, and I don't really mention this guy too often because, I mean, he just kind of covers DGen. I think he's spot on. So, believe it or not, shout out to Jake Gagan, right? Whether you're a fan of him or not. Jake did bring this up. I think it was yesterday on the morning show. I can't remember. I think it was with Rodney. Jake mentioned something I totally agree with, right? So as we know, I see another super chat there. Sorry about that. I'll get in a second. As we know that there is like so much unclarity when it comes to crypto. Legally speaking, can the SEC really come after Coinbase, technically speaking, right? When there's unwritten rules, yes, there's security laws, but when it comes to crypto, there's so much like unwritten rules, if you will. Is it enough where if the SEC did try to come toward or go after Coinbase, they wouldn't fully be able to just completely shut it down? I don't have the answers for that, right? Obviously, I'm not a law guy, but those were the things I do remember that, Jake Gagan was mentioning, and I think he's right. It's just like you have to have something a little bit more, I don't know, like written law, right? And it has to be clearly defined. Is that enough to, have a good defense? Yeah. Is it going to get, dragged through the mud in court? Possibly. That was obviously not good for crypto, right? So I don't know. You bring up a great point, though. All right, I need to. I'll read this too, since it's right there. Isn't HBAR getting ready for a token release? Don't know about that either. I have to catch up on that, Cash. You know me, I'm not gonna BS you guys. All right, Kevin Dolly, you buying more Jasmine? Cool, man. We're buying Jasmine. Salamander with the 589 super chat, and I'm so far behind that, almost an hour, 15 minutes behind. My God, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Max, for what you. I think we were trying to say what I do with my dad. You're awesome. Buy more XRP and let's show Lizard Gensler, the reptilian, that we are XRP army. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, XRP is still a great price. We had a pullback. How much of a pullback do we have XRP? I need to pull this up real quick. I don't necessarily need to share this, but XRP is up. It's back up over 52 cents again. Still a buy, in my opinion. I mean, everybody who got it at 32 cents or less, I mean, we did good on that. I'm still in the profits for my XRP. A lot of you guys are as well. Let me see if there's any other super chats that I missed out on. I'm really sorry, guys. That was not intentional. Let's see. Jasmine will be huge. I think so. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't bother wasting all my money on this. I think the same with you guys. Brian down. Okay, so you are letting us know. Got 100K Jasmine. Won't share my bags, but I mentioned that one before. Oh, okay. No problem. I don't mention all of my bags and how much I hold on some. Some of them I do. Some of them I don't. I don't know. I'm just kind of weird like that. Thanks for that, Brian. You didn't have to let us know, but that was nice of you. Cash Cats, I'm at 1.2 million on Jasmine. I believe in it. Good for you, man. And Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, my God. Like back in the day, I mean, in that movie especially, she you guys know, she kind of shows herself a few times, and wow, she made somebody happy quite a bit of time. A few times back. I should talk about that stuff. Sorry. All right, let's go further down. Tim Shea, Max, you killed it with your power swap before with Hex. I just feel that Pulse Chain will take over and Hex might not come back as usual. Well, thanks. The way I look at it, Tim, is like this, okay? As the saying goes, and maybe this is an overused statement, don't get it twisted, right? So for you guys, I shouldn't say, some of you guys are like, what do you mean by you guys? You guys. Well, just hear me out, right? You guys, right? So a lot of you guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, right? You justify your DGen plays, right? It happens all the time. That's why you guys do watch Rodney and, JK and those guys. Nothing against those guys. I mean, so there's a certain percentage of us, we get our, our daily shows, DGen shows, ISO shows, whatever type of show. Heck, maybe not even crypto show, right? But the point is, when it comes to the DGen plays, you have maybe a set amount that you have every month. I'm going to throw this much into PayPay. I'm going to throw this much into this meme coin. Or, you guys do it. I know you do it. Shout out to Kuchi Boy. I don't think he showed up tonight, and that's okay, but shout out to him. And the point is that, you guys will set money aside. It's a form of, I don't know, like a justification of like your crypto scratch it, if you will. Hey, man, we all got to do what we got to do. For me, to a sense, you could kind of call it like my version of a DGen play, right? And some people do call Hex kind of DGen to a sense, even though technically speaking, by market cap, if CMC listed it properly, they would clearly be in the top 20, I think, maybe even top 10, if I'm not mistaken, based on market cap, but they will never get properly listed, right? So here's the thing. As you guys know, about my stance when it comes to Cypherium, right? I mentioned before, I better double check this. When it comes to Cypherium, let me double check the price of Cypherium real quick. I said if it crashes below a penny, I'll pick up a second bag, right? Remember how I said that? I said because I'm weird like that. Now it came close and I didn't do it. I'm not beating myself up about it, but I'm going to commit to that. When it comes to Hex, I don't have to necessarily, sell the farm, right, to buy a bunch of Hex. I won't do that. I'll kind of look at like what I did with BSV originally. Throw $125 at it, or what I did with Cypherium. Maybe I throw like, I think I threw like 280 or something like that. Cypherium. Now, don't get me wrong. For some people, like, hey man, that's a big deal. The way I look at it, and this is not me trying to, have a Wang measuring contest or anything. It's not like that. My thing is this. I look at it from that perspective. It's kind of like my justification for a crypto scratch it or something, or whatever you want to call it, because I'm not going to sell the farm. I'm not going to put $1,000 into Hex, but I may treat it kind of like what I originally treated, or how I originally treated Dogecoin. I bought it at a penny, bought $300 worth. Oh, are you kidding? Like, that was great. If it wasn't for Dogecoin, I wouldn't be here. You guys know the story. Like $300 basically turn that into 22K. I mean, who doesn't want to do these types of things? So the way I look at it is I put in a certain amount, say to myself, this is the amount that I'm cool with potentially losing. Just like, some of you guys are potentially good with losing, on dog crap Inu, or I crap pancakes for 2 weeks, Inu, or whatever you want to call it, right? You're cool with that. I too would be cool with just, hey, this certain amount. But I'm definitely not going to put $1,000 towards Pulse Chain or $1,000 towards Hex. In reality, I don't know, maybe $300 at the most, and I'm cool with that. I can live with that. Because as you guys know, I just don't really do the meme coin thing anymore. I don't. I mean, I'm done chasing meme coins. This is a different form of chasing. But what is it? Distressed asset that I feel as though could very well bounce up in the other direction. But I definitely will do more of my own research and try to find out like what you're talking about, Tim, where it's just Pulse Chain taking over. And that could be the case. All right, I'm going to refresh the other screen, see what's going on. The Max Scratcher. Yeah, you guys love the Max Scratcher, don't you? All right, she looked really good in that movie. Yeah, she did. She did. And even in True Lies, she looked pretty good. But I had to go with Tia Carrera if I had to pick one of the two at that time. All right, if GG shorted BTC, his career is over with the SEC. I would hope so. The way I look at it, his career should have been over. With the whole allegations of him having, these weird phone calls at 2:00 in the morning, at least a couple of them with Sam Bankman-Fried, but whatever, right? We all going to be rich and leave a good legacy. Right. We just got to finish this race, and it's a long, long race. Elon Musk do the same thing with Doge. Gensler needs to swing next to Biden, according to Muff. Tim Shea, can't find too much on it. I think Twitter would be blowing up about it. Really hope it's true so we can get rid of them for sure. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that starts a trend. And like, people share that article and then they put in, for instance, Gary Gensler resign or fire Gensler or whatever the case be. Elia Israel, welcome back. He says, greens to all, been a while. Mortgages, car payments, gas, groceries, medical, dental. Oh man, you're getting hit with all the stuff I'm getting hit with. I don't have to worry about the child care. I don't have any kids yet. One of these days, maybe. It will be tough battle to accumulate and hold till the end. Fight on. I could definitely relate to the medical. Been hit with a ton of medical bills because the whole thing with my dad. Of course, groceries. We're all dealing with the gas. Don't have to worry about car payments. Don't have a car payment. Own a car, but don't have a car. My car only has 60,000 original miles, and it's a good car. It's a Olds Cutlass, believe it or not, but it has 60,000 or 59,000 original miles. And it's a 97, and I could have, some of my friends were like, actually criticizing me at the time. They're like, why don't you buy a brand new car? I'm like, because I don't want car payments, and I'd rather put that money towards crypto opportunities. Okay, if it was me, I'd buy a brand new car. Why? If I have a car payment? No. The car's going to depreciate in value. I like this car. It's a 97 Cutlass, and it's in great shape. So there you go. I drive a 1997 Cutlass that has 59,000 original miles, and I've had it since it had 39,000 miles, something like that. So I'm not complaining, and I got a good deal on it, and it only had one owner. So there you go. While everybody's paying those car payments, that's extra money towards crypto. Just because I turned 10K to 120K doesn't mean that I became rich. You know what I mean? So some of my friends are like, oh, you're well off now. No, I'm not. I am not to that point yet, but I will be. All right. Mr. Burns bought Bitcoin. Excellent. Yes. You're on the way to work. Peace. Have a good one. Elia, glad to have you back. It's going to go through a few more comments, see where we're at. Menace, welcome back. What's up, everyone? Buy the fudge. Jasmine announced stablecoin and staking. Yeah, we're going to get into some of that stuff, but not tonight. But I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad you know, right? You're in the know. Chris Moffat just added you guys on Twitter. Love your content from Australia. You know what? It seems like people in Australia do love the content and do appreciate that, Chris. Chris, consider changing your avatar. Something that speaks more about who you are and what you're about. But guys, let's give a warm welcome to Chris Moffat. I'm glad you added us on Twitter. Make sure you follow me at DPG Maximus. If you follow this other guy who is Larry, he's a good guy and all, but it might be crickets. So just kind of throwing it out there. I think it's Larry. Boom. All right. Gonna read maybe a couple more. Sorry, Max, I had mud butt. Wow. What you been hanging out with Rain secretly? All right. Rain in the mud butt. Oh, jeez. If he ever comes back in 2024, like he stated, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a couple of you guys who are gonna be like, oh my gosh, Rain, how you doing? How's the good old mud butt special doing or something? I don't know. Anyway, that's funny stuff. All right, we're gonna kick it into the rest of why this outline makes sense for Stellar. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys this. Let me take some of these banners off for just a brief moment so it's not all smudged. All right, so we were showing you about roughly 6 to 7 minutes in regards to this whole thing in regards to Stellar, right? And you may be wondering, well, why does this all make sense? Well, it makes perfect sense. So back on May 25th of 2021, like it shows right here, the Stellar Development Foundation announced a 15 million USD enterprise fund investment in Mexico City-based Artem, okay? Or Airtum. I think she said Airtum. A blockchain and bank connected digital wallet and peer-to-peer exchange platform that provides globally connected dollar accounts to consumers and business throughout Latin America. Now, like I also mentioned, and other emerging markets, this investment marks the SDFs, which is, the Stellar Development Foundation's largest enterprise fund investment to date, and is the fund's fifth strategic investment made in, of course, back then in 2021. I want to show you just a little bit more. All right. The investment, all right, back then enabled Artem or Airtem to advance development of its robust platform by integrating with Stellar in, of course, the coming year. This already happened. It brought global financial service to businesses and consumers in Latin America. That's happened, right? This is why I'm showing you where it all started. But yeah, in Latin America, and developed, they're developing this around the world while leveraging the most powerful features of the Stellar network to make transactions secure and more cost effective. Now listen to this. Airtem exists because financial systems throughout the developing world are not aligned with their people's needs and global aspirations, said Ruben Galindo Steckel, CEO of Airtem. Here's another quote. With this investment, I'm not going to read like all of it, but just hear me out. With this investment and our integration with the Stellar network, we continue to advance our mission of helping consumers and businesses throughout the developing world access stable money that holds its value. Think about this. Stellar in itself, helping consumers and businesses throughout the developing world access stable money that holds its value. This is the reason why you hear consistently about Stellar becoming a stablecoin, not the old traditional stablecoin at a 1-1. As we know, there's different forms of stablecoins. But the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because, for one, earlier you saw that example that we brought you in regards to Mary Sirocco, who's the co-founder and CFO of LATAM, right? And she shared just briefly on that whole thing about, bringing real-world utility to those who need it most in Latin America. And now you have this other perfect example. So roughly within the last 3 days, Stellar is really standing out when it comes to what, guys? Latin America, and giving you examples of how they're developing access to stable money that holds its value. Now, if they're developing, access to stable money that holds its value, well, the thing that excites us the most is the whole concept of institutional money to come in and buy this stuff up. Why would that be? Because they will also recognize that if it worked for retail, it could work for them as well, but they want that clarity. This is why we consistently cover Stellar, right? And it also mentions is instant transfer with no fees, right? Or virtually no fees. Compatible with the global economy and can be withdrawn as local currency whenever and wherever is needed. So, we talk about people who have access. A lot of people in these third world countries in Latin America simply don't have access. Well, what's a real world solution? Stellar is a real world solution. I just don't think, for a lot of people who just don't do their own research and they just complain about the prices of, oh, this hasn't moved. Why would I want to buy this? They just don't do more of their own research. It's that simple. They don't see the bigger, broader perspective. All right. A little bit more in regards to this. With fragmented banking networks, Latin America remains a largely cash-based economy. In fact, do you know this? In 2020 alone, 91% of all transactions in Mexico were still made in cash. What's another example we know? Back in 2018, over 80% of the population in Japan was what? Cash-based society, right? Japanese yen. Look at where Japan is now, embracing crypto. So when you see all these other examples, you literally see not just the writing on the wall. This is why it's important to understand history. And especially when it comes to blockchain and some of these projects and so on, right? Are we too far off? No, we are not. So it mentions a little bit more in regards to this. It says, while the broader Latin American region accounted for just 5% of all cross-border transactions, Latin America is digitalizing fast. 13 million Visa cardholders in the region made their first ever online transactions back in 2020. And of course, with COVID, that acted as an accelerant for digital transformation. You saw those interviews, what's happening recently, right? In those regions of Latin America. Two totally different projects, but both built on what? Built on Stellar with AirTM and also this other one. And let me just double check the name of it, which was basically LATAM, right? You know, this lady, Mary, what's her name again? Mary Sirocco, right? That we showed you on the first clip. Like I said, she had a career at financial institutions such as UBS and the World Bank Group. And what do we know when it comes to the World Bank Group? We know that the World Bank has announced they both officially recognize what? Ripple's XRP and Stellar's XLM as being what, guys? Global stable coins. So that in itself is very, very bullish for the long-term outlook for the broader perspective or the bigger picture when it comes to XLM. I just shake my head something fierce when I see people who just bring up the chart and they're like, oh, Stellar hasn't really done much in the last couple of years. If anything, it's tanking. Of course it's tanking. A lot of things have tanked. Recognize the boom cycles. Recognize the cycles of what's on sale. But let's face it, people will only accumulate when everything has gone to the moon. I don't want to accumulate when things have gone to the moon. I want to accumulate during the accumulation phase. All right, a tad bit more about this. And I want to read this quote from Danielle Dixon before we wrap things up in regards to the Stellar segment. Here's a quote from back then. She states, as in Danielle Dixon, that she's excited to work with AirTM to further enhance the important work they are doing in Latin America and beyond to solve the last mile remittance problem. You know how many times we talk about remittances when it comes to cross-border payments? Yeah. Making it faster, more affordable to reach end users and expanding equitable access to the global financial system. With AirTM, if I pronounce that right, maybe not doing it, sorry about that, shift to Stellar, she envisions a future where Latin America could become one of the fastest growing regions for global remittances, unleashing a wave of adoption and innovation in peer-to-peer business digital payments throughout the region. So what I want to state, just real quick in closing, you have Stellar. They have two specific projects, like we gave you in this example of this segment for tonight, of what they're doing in Latin America. What do we also know that's going on in Latin America? Obviously with Quant, with LatChain. Why would these big DLT projects, where there's Quant, Stellar, and so on, put so much focus on, for instance, Latin America? Opportunity, right? And also serving an area of the world that simply needs access. My point to you guys is this. There's so many other areas in the world that also need access, but all it takes is having real world use cases or testimonials of these affected areas, of them being on board and saying, you know what, this has worked. There's a handful of countries, as we know, in these regions, and to see actual data that supports, I know I say this saying a lot, the thesis of look at where their economies were in the past before they implemented some of these technologies, and look at where the economies are going here soon in the future. If retail is able to get the job done for cross-border payments, like it showed up here, right, for the global financial system, making it more affordable to reach end users, expanding equitable access, it's going to happen for the big institutions as well. And that's worth paying attention to, because as we know, we are going to be part of the greatest generational shift of where the new monetary system is going. And if the new monetary system, I should say if, no matter when, is embracing these technologies, I want to be on board for that 110% during the accumulation phase that we're basically in. That concludes the Stellar segment. If you guys enjoyed that, you can look more into it. Follow the Stellar Foundation on YouTube. All right. The last segment that we'll get into after I get into the comments just for a brief bit is just a brief update in regards to XDC. So smash that like if you haven't done so already. And I'm going to turn our banners back on and read some more comments. All right. Let me see where we're at. Let me refresh the screen. And we'll see what's up. All right. All right. I didn't see that I missed anything else, which is good. River, I just got a Twitter account this week, so I follow all the wackos in here. Yeah, I just saw that you follow another wacko myself. I saw that. I followed you back. Very cool stuff. Always appreciate our community that we have here. Like I mentioned, the last segment will be XDC. You want to stick around for it. It's a pretty good little segment we have. Don't leave just yet. I saw some people leave. John Francis says, dude, when we become filthy rich from Stellar, we are going to have to maintain our composure attending their beach party. Yeah, exactly. You guys are going to have to contain your composure when you're hanging around some of Denell Dixon's lovely relatives or something. I don't know. It's been 84 years. Okay. Man, I'll be blowing gaskets. Forgive me. That's all right. Rick Cogswell. Hi, all. Welcome to Rick Cogswell. You look pretty sharp. I haven't seen you here before, but thank you for joining us. Guys, let's give Rick Cogswell the warm CTN welcome and hope to see more of you. Yeah, that's actually not the issue. I know you're just joking around, but you know, he has a tracer route problem. So we've done multiple tracer routes. On his route, I get 9 total hops. You know, he gets like 29 hops. And on those 29 hops, he gets like maybe 6 timeouts. So there's something wrong with his network route. And I was trying to get him some software that will fix that route, because in the past I've had problems like this when I was doing gaming. And so, you know, like I mentioned, if your route goes from like, you know, for him, you know, someplace in North Carolina, and then all of a sudden it jumps like, you know, does like a zigzag all over the United States and times out, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's like having worse than dial-up. And so it definitely affects him being able to have a good show. We'll have to figure something out, you know, even to the point, maybe, I don't know, maybe he just makes recorded videos. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. We'll have to figure it out. I have that same back scratcher. You do? I had one better than this, my friend. I had one that was so perfect, and then it fell off of a platform, I think a picnic table or something like that. You might be thinking, why are you bringing a back scratcher to a picnic? But anyway, but I used to have the tips kind of sharpened just right. So it was perfect. This one's good, but it's not as good as the other one I had. Anyway, yes, I used to sharpen it, like, you know, kind of make it so just the perfect amount of, I don't know, we call it like where it just scratches it perfectly. Yes, Max Scratcher NFT, 1 of 1 to be minted on Stellar. Make sure you check out today's Stellar video. All right. Scotty Knows, welcome. Glad to have you back. WrestleMania night. Yeah, it kind of somewhat turned into that. Not really, but Brittany's still in the house. Thank you for being here, Brittany. I think you got a new avatar, did you not? Let's see. It's a nice picture, Brittany. Good for you. I don't know if that's like a mirror or something in the background. I don't know. All right. You've been stuck. Oh, hold on. I think I'm too further down. Let me go back up one. I want to welcome Raymond Houston, Jed Trollen, Brian Alley, XLM, that high value stable coin. Prices, yeah, it is. All right. Scotty knows I've been stuck between that and Quant. Why do you have to pick one, though? I mean, that's just the way I look at it. You know, you don't have to own a full Quant yet, but like, you know, you can DCA into owning a full Quant. Not financial advice. You got to do what you got to do. Quant and XLM are part of my top 5. All right. Let me see what else you guys got. So it's not the P Hub. It's definitely not at that, man. You know, anyway. God. Brian Alley, Boomer changed avatar and Max never noticed. Really? No? I mean, I've seen this avatar before, unless you changed it like in between. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and kick it into the last part of our segment, or last segment, I should say. which is XDC. You know me. All right, let's jump into that. Here it is. XDC. All right, cool stuff. Let's get into this. So I'm gonna blow this up a little bit more for you guys. You see it a little bit better. I think that's kind of good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, shout out to this guy. He was Crypto Nair D, Darren Lewis Jr. He's Detroit, you the D, new kid on the block. Get smacked back to the boondocks, right? Shout out to the freaking 2003 movie 8 Mile. All right, so XDC. Hybrid blockchain for industry-wide tracking of trade documents. I mean, come on. Trade's always going to get mentioned when it comes to XDC. We know that. And negotiable instruments across parties and platforms. Swift File Act plus XDC Ignigno Trace Original. The first doc-compatible document technology. Vendor to digitize, I should say, trade documents and negotiable instruments as per M-Leader compatible laws. We've done a deep dive on M-Leader for XDC a while back, like 3 months ago. Right, first DOC, right? Remember Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, the DOC. He would have had a great rap career if he didn't get in that accident that messed up his vocal cords. For you guys that know your hip hop, you know about that. He had the album, was it Nobody Can Do It Better? Yeah. All right, we're going to play this. It's good stuff. You may have to turn up your volume a little bit. Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't have like an amplifier. I wish I could turn up more. So yeah, you're gonna have to, pay attention about this. No talking in the back row. Pay attention. All right. Here we go.
The perspective, we see that if we combine those interoperable documents using the Enigio technology and using existing systems like Finastra, China System, SureComp, and Swift or e-banking as channel, we see how all of those technologies can be combined. That means Automaxis or any other platform, trade documentation platform, digitizing the documents between the corporates, and then those documents becoming interoperable through the Enigio Trace original technology with various financial institutions. And those financial institutions can themselves exchange those documents through File Act, which is a file transfer service between banks and large corporates, basically. So it shows that each player has a particular role to play. And here we see also how the XDC network provides a public, basically, register of the tokenized assets. I mean, that means there is no business information being published publicly, but there is only a token being a hash, basically, outcome, a result of the asset being published on for validity and life cycle tracking. So you basically can check the life cycle tracking of any asset that you're, for instance, insuring or funding on a continuous basis through the XDC without public blockchain, without being necessarily a client of a particular platform.
What he was going to say at the end is without being a client of a particular platform. I want to show you this just briefly, and then we'll close things out. So here's a little bit of like what he's talking about. And, this comes from xdc.org, it states, let me blow this up more. Security tokens offer a path for investors and SMEs in trade finance. This is what this guy is basically referring to. And I'll come back into the frame just for a brief moment. Try to blow this up just a tad bit more. Make it nice and big. All right. So it says it has been a long established that there is more demand for capital in the multi-trillion-dollar trade finance industry than there is capital available. Now, this is where people get the concept of, for instance, like, I know this is an XDC segment, but can Ripple's XRP take on the debt, our national debt, or other countries that are in debt, taking on the debt? Here's another perfect example of what we're referring to. right? And that is, that demand for capital in the multi-trillion-dollar trade finance industry, then there is capital available. Perfect example. The capital is supplied by the small number of investment banks in this field, which tends to reach only the large, well-established trading firms around the world. Think about what's going on recently in light of like the SEC and so on, right? How are we going to have an example of, getting that reach to the large, well-established trading firms around the world if we have crypto suppressed consistently? Think about the bigger picture. Are we too far off based on those claims? I don't think so. It says, and the complex system to gain credit with one of these banks is generally out of the reach of the small, medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs. Blockchain, specifically the XDC network, offers a viable platform for creative solutions to this problem. One novel approach would be to create regulated and asset-backed security tokens. The tokens would represent the value of trade finance assets that are packaged in blocks or tranches, not tranches, tranches. A rate of return would be assigned, and ultimately the token would be traded on the secondary market for both institutional and retail investors. Think about that for a moment, right? And what do we know with the launch of ISO 222? We understood that as much as we were thinking that it was going to be, XRP or XLM that was going to have like a pump during that particular day, it is just a messaging system. But what was the one that actually went up like roughly 20% or more? It was XTC. A little bit more in regards to this. There are many regulations with global trade, and industry adoption only occur with well thought out, properly governed tokens. And you're going to see that. And if anything, I know this is not a Jasmine video. I'm going to get into the nitty gritty on the deep dive of why it's so important for more and more of us to understand what DFFT is all about. Data free flow with trust. There's things that are mentioned in regards to the regulatory framework to basically have not just Japan, but other countries, even in the European Union, who are on board to get the ball rolling. With the XDC network security, speed, scalability, low transaction costs, it is, as well as its participants' experience in the trade finance industry, a properly structured asset-backed security token grants a new level of participation in trade finance. That's big. I want to just show you this last two things. Trade finance assets are widely considered as low risk. Think about that. This is why XDC, for me personally, consistently is my number 4 in my top 5. Some people ask me that. They're like, why is XDC your number 4 and not HBAR? I love HBAR. Don't get me wrong, but there's a top 10 for a reason. I'm not necessarily saying that XDC is better than HBAR or any of that stuff. I don't want people to think that. But when I look at the grander scale of things, XDC has to consistently be my number 4 because for me, and again, it's just me, we can agree to disagree. I look at it from this perspective, and that is I'm investing into that generational wealth. I'm not saying that, HBAR is not generational wealth. It is. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of the institutional investors. When you see things mentioned here, trade finance assets are widely considered as low risk and are therefore attractive to institutional investors. And we're basically getting close to becoming on the path of, wow, what you're going to see on my presentation through a Jasmine video, let's face it, when it comes to data free flow with trust, DFFT, and the regulatory framework that's involved in that, does involve some of the trade sector, right? To have something like this attractive to institutional investors, well, I'm thinking about, the BlackRocks of the world, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. A security token that represents the value of packaged trade finance assets would make these assets available to a broader investment community, including private and even retail investors. And again, it's just another example of why some people feel as though XDC is like, some people don't like me mention this. I don't care. It's just my opinion. The Ethereum killer, right? With a broader investment pool, the growing 1.7 million trade finance gap, which is higher now, by the way, affects small to medium-sized enterprises. SMEs should begin to shrink. This trade finance gap has been problematic to SMEs who have seen their businesses suffer without access to capital that their larger competitors have long been able to enjoy. All right, I'd like to get down to the example of Strata. We covered that before in the past. But one of my key takeaways I want you guys to have in regards to this is understanding that there's a lot of things going on in the world when it comes to recent developments, or the way crypto's been attacked and so on. What's going on in the background is some of the bigger players that are tied into the institutions or so on are literally laying down some of the framework. But we are, as Coach JV has mentioned, we are actually being distracted. I will agree with that 100%. There is a narrative so many times about what to follow, and we are being distracted. In the past, we were distracted with, for instance, like last year with Quant and so on. Gary Gensler doesn't want us to focus on him as a target. He wants us to focus on something else. There's always going to be things to distract us, but what we should be paying attention is what is going on in the trade sector and so on. And for me, I still will say this 110%, and that is this thing of DFFT, data free flow with trust, is literally the pathway forward when it comes to that regulatory framework that we're all looking for. So by all means, even though this is XTC segment and we're closing the show out, watch out for the deep dive. It's going to come here soon. I'll probably have the discipline to say to myself, no break. Immediately after the show, record that video, get it out there, because I do have the outline for you guys. Even if you don't hold Jasmine, you're going to want to watch this video because it's going to give you a broader sense of perspective. I will show you videos, clips, the whole 9 yards, the research, everything on why it's so important as you as a holder, even if you don't hold Jasmine, to pay attention to that. We have for over a year now talked about this whole concept of regulatory framework before we can get the clarity. I'm telling you flat out, DFFT is that pathway forward. It is truly the framework that everybody's been hoping and praying for. There is a ball that's rolling with this. Yes, Japan is leading the charge, not Kuntagi Ando, Taro Kono, right? But there's some other people on the other end of the aisle through the European Union. There's a lady, you're going to see her in the interview, who talks specifically about this. And what's best about it is there was a recent interview where they're bringing all this together. And it makes me wonder, is this all tied into why the SEC is going after all this stuff? Could very well be the case. You're going to want to watch that video. I'm going to read the last bit of comments, and then I am going to end the stream. I want to read this from Magic Power. Temporary halts deposits for selected bridge tokens network. All right. You guys are having fun in the comments. Boomer, Vaseline. GS says, Brian, I changed mine too, and no mention Quant Vaseline. I didn't see that. I honestly didn't see it. I wasn't trying to ignore you guys. I just didn't see that. That's funny, though. Caroline is the keyword on 2-bit stream. I'm sure it is. I haven't had a chance to watch the stream because of work conflicts, but that's okay. Let's see here. Been trying to do some summer school. Yeah. Extra money. All right. Brian Caroline said, bring the... Wow. All right. No need, Selmo. That's interesting. All right. Well, guys, it's been a great show. We just hit a little over the 3-hour mark, right? 3 hours and 4 minutes. Glad to be back. I'll be with you guys tomorrow. It won't be as long of a show. Technically, I was not going to be with you guys tomorrow, but I do want to try to keep up with the flow for the most part of what we have going on here. Obviously, our numbers have taken a hit, but I will be back. Tomorrow's game for the NBA Finals. Go Miami Heat, down with Denver, even though I am a fan of Jamal Murray. I do like Jokic. I think Jokic is an amazing player. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, first player in history to do, was it 31 points, 20 boards, 10 assists or something like that. Phenomenal player, right? Jamal Murray, phenomenal player. Both those guys had a triple-double last night. Not going to root for them, Well, Denver's never won a championship. I don't give a damn. They beat the Phoenix Suns. Down with Denver, right? Miami Heat, AC. I like Jimmy Butler, a.k.a. Jimmy Buckets. Go Heat. Don't get it twisted, Henry Brown, if you're still here. Go Miami Heat. So anyway, that's tomorrow's game. I definitely, at least, I would like to see the third quarter at least. I don't know, second half, but in reality, I'll probably be with you guys. But it's not going to be a long show. Maybe hour and a half. Hour to hour and a half. So I'm just throwing that out there. All right. Let's go, Denver, please. All right. Go Heat. Yes, thank you, Rick. What the heck is this? Vaseline still missing comments, Max. What the heck? Dude can't jump. That Joker is hot. Right. You know, Sabonis couldn't jump, but he was decent. But he had knee problems. But, you know, back in the 80s, he was probably like, you know, one of the best players in the world. Too bad that the Blazers couldn't have gotten him back then, but it is what it is. All right. Should be interesting NBA draft later on as well. But I'll keep you guys. Really appreciate you guys. I know when we first started, we didn't have quite a few people, but, you know, I think we had some decent numbers. We got up over 40 at one point, which is cool. Still looking into WTK, Max. No, I'm not. I'm not flooding anybody's bags. I will not cover WTK anymore. I do trust Quant Papa. He has given me some information in regards to WTK. And it was something that with the devs a while back that it just was really, I don't want to flood it because I know people have it. If you want, you can ask me off camera about it. I will not cover WTK anymore. I'll just throw that out there. You guys saw that one video we did. We had a little bit of a following, got some subs, which is cool. I will not cover WTK anymore. Just want to throw that out there. You're more than welcome to mention it. You know, here and have, you know, talk amongst each other. But as far as people want me to take more of a deeper dive into it and regularly cover, I will not. I'm not going to. Even if a person threw like $100 super chat or something like that, it's not about that. I'm not like that anyway. I know it sounds bad. It's just for me personally. I'm not looking to get into it, and I am definitely not looking to do any updates in regards to WTK. If you want to learn more about that, again, you can contact me on that in regards to that on Twitter. But some things just did not set well with me, and I don't want no part of that. So, Brian Dowie, Jokic best player in ball right now. What about Pink Taco Inu? Oh yeah, definitely cover that quite a bit. That should yield you quite the spread, my friend. All right, Pepe is not over or dead, Max. New time. Okay, I hear you. I hope you guys do well on that stuff. You know, for me, you know, instead of putting money into that, for me, I know I said I was gonna, you know, close things out. I'm gonna show you guys just something real quick. All right, as far as like the way I look at some of the opportunities. Let me see real quick. Just real quick. It won't take too long. All right, just as some of my favorites. So, you know, I look at things like I want to do the 24-hour or 7-day chart real quick. So I know I mentioned Hex. Look at that. Hex went up 13.5% an hour. You know, anyway. Nothing against you guys who are in Volt. I understand that, but you know, Volts. I'm not gonna get back into Volt. I'm not gonna go for the V3. I think there's some great members of the community, right? Like Space Chick and so on, right? Shout out to her. But I saw some other things I thought were pretty darn good to get into. Obviously, Algo, right? So instead of me throwing money at Pepe, I'm going to recognize Algo, right? That's a good price. And especially this. Can we all agree on this? If some more bad news comes out from the SEC, because let's face it, Algorand is part of that target. Why aren't we picking up Algo? I mean, we should pick it up right now, right? Not financial advice, but why aren't we picking up Algo, especially if it did crash below 10 cents? I mean, are we going to believe that the whole thing is just going to be a giant, like, you know, everything's a bloodbath and it's just going to continue to bleed forever? No, I choose not to believe that. That's just me. All right, some other ones I saw. Filecoin, on the other hand, I mean, yeah, I still have a lot of Filecoin, but I'm going to have to see what's going on with that. You know, there's a couple of guys I follow for TNA. I'm going to check on that. Bitcoin Pay. That's still one I want to, recognize on like a power swap. So there's that, you know what I mean? That's again, kind of like, you guys do the meme coins. That again, for me, that's like, okay, maybe I throw a decent amount into that. Hold on, there's a few other ones I wanted to point out here. Even though this is distress and people are like, well, there's no reason to get into this. Voyager, I might just throw a little bit into that because why not? I know that sounds crazy. Hold on a second. Obviously, Jasmine coin, I'm picking up at least 100,000 more of these. I get it. Some people just, their attitude is they got enough. I'm just saying, for me personally, I want to get to that million goal. I may have that attitude. I want to get to the 2 million goal, because, hear me out on this just real quick. I know this is extended. So for me with Jasmine, it's like, if I have $1 million and it gets to $1, that's obviously $1 million. A lot of people are probably going to do that. But at the same time, if I had a separate bag, right, like another $1 million bag, and I held that to, I don't know, $5 or $10, are you kidding me? You know what I'm talking about. This is the whole concept of having more than one bag, right? Reaching goals. But again, everybody's going to do what we're going to do. So here's one I definitely want to point out, right? The graph. I bought the bottom of the bottom when it came to the graph, right? I took advantage of this around the time of, I think, FTX. And I bought this at 6 cents, right? That was the bottom. This crashes even more, and I'm really, really monitoring this. Below 10 cents, I buy a second bag of it. I'm just throwing that out there. The graph, I mean, if you haven't done your research on the graph, you need to. Some people complain about it in the short term, but long term, this is a great one, in my opinion. All right, not a financial advice. Tim Shea, I am paying attention to XX Network. If it was to crash to 10 cents or below, I think that's a great buy. People keep mentioning Marlin Pond to me all the time. Max, you're missing out on Marlin Pond. One of the devs from Zilliqa is part of this. I have been paying attention to this. And what interests me is it consistently has decent volume and kind of trades sideways, and it has for the longest time. I think there's a matter of time before this pops off. Aptos, I think it's an absolute buy, but I want to find out a little bit more in regards to resistance or new support on that one. I have to get with Mike Cornwell to find out a little bit more about Doge chain. I mean, I always say don't get in the memes, but that one is worth paying attention to, because when Doge does well, this probably does better, technically speaking. I'm not looking to touch Axie Infinity, but Smooth Love Potion to me is probably a little bit better of the opportunity. But if Axie was to drop to $5, I mean, come on, I'm not picking up some of that. Don't get into Solace. I honestly think they're done. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Vet has still been on my list to look into that more. I know some of you guys hold Vet. A lot of us have stated, if it gets to a penny or below, you buy more. But at this point, this is worth paying attention because, again, the concept of consolidation, understand the pressure cooker effect. It's been this way for like a couple years, for crying out loud, right? That's worth paying attention to. Flux, Tim, let me know. What do you feel is a good price for Flux? I know what I said with Stratos. Shout out to XXI. I know he's not here tonight, but with Stratos, I always felt 43 cents was a great buy. I saw it went down to 48, 49. I should have picked that up because it went up to the 60s within a week, right? Things like this are worth paying attention to. I do want to eventually make a position to Flux, but, Tim, I kind of value, I should say kind of, I really value your opinion when it comes to Flux. You did introduce that to us. So if you have time, no rush, send me like a DM in regards to that. Harmony 1, I mean, it's there, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of lost a lot of faith on this, but it has, again, been trading sideways for the longest time. Maybe I just have the attitude kind of like I do about Cypherium and, Hex. If it drops below the support and goes below a penny, maybe I buy some of that. Constellation DAG has been one that's been bothering me for the longest time. I keep feeling like I should get that. That's a great long-term play. IOTA, we never talk about. I don't know why we don't talk more about IOTA. Maybe I should cover IOTA more. That's a buy. Look at that. Under 18 cents. I'm just throwing out some of these ones just to bring it to your attention. I'm not trying to keep you guys here all night. May feel that way. Hold on, what's some other ones? I'm not messing with Celsius. I know sometimes I said I would. PLL, I'm being honest. I know Mike Cornwell picked some of this up, and that's great. I am monitoring this one very, very closely because at some point, staking, just like, Tim Shea, you said you do staking on KuCoin. Believe it or not, you get a little bit of POL rewards for doing so, right? This is a utility token. It has no community whatsoever, but it's a true utility token. And this, at the peak of the last bull run, I believe was at 65 cents. So I'm just saying, I mean, there's opportunities with this. If you don't believe me, look more into this. I'm not making this stuff up, but I'm just saying at under a penny or under, like, I probably am going to throw at least $300, $400 into this, maybe more. I don't know. Not too crazy, right? Don't sell the farm, as the saying goes. Cosmos is a great buy under $10, always is. I may finally get into GBEX. Two of their big wigs follow me, which is weird. I think they like watch or show it, or they just see that I tag XDC all the time. I don't know. But they do follow me, which is pretty cool. Raven Coin, I don't see this breaking resistance. Elk, I know I mentioned this in the past, right? Elk is a great opportunity, and especially if it's under 10 cents, I still think there's something there with that. But if you're the type of person which you don't want to wait long term, then it probably is not going to be for you. I'm just sorry, Mike. I'm just being honest about that. I just think long term it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be all that great in the short term. But at under 10 cents, why would we not take a, if you're taking a chance on a meme coin, why wouldn't you take a chance on this? None of this is financial advice. I'm just showing you guys some of the things I personally look at, right? I mean, some people have stated that they want me to show, you guys want me to show you like not just the top 10, but some of the things I have my eye on. I would not touch Terra Luna, obviously, right? KuCoin token, this one, right? We talked about POL but KuCoin token in itself, it's always been one of those ones that's on my list. I know exchange tokens are not a popular thing nowadays, right? But I'm looking at it from the the sense of opportunity. This might not be too bad just to have a few. BSV, if it breaks under 30, I mean that's the bottom of the bottom for the last 2 years or something like that. I mean, we know where BSV is going to go in the future. I think a lot of us are sold on the concept that this is amazing. Over 100,000 plus TPS. Some of the the London Blockchain Week, very impressive stuff. Please do not get into BTT. That was a bad one I got into. Part of my crypto journey, live and learn. I'm not getting into Doge Mars. Casper, I still think is a great price, but it could break resistance below 4 cents. I possibly pick up another bag, but I'm happy with the bag. I have a big bag of that. DAP Radar, I'm going to throw this out. This is one that will pump like crazy on the crypto.com. They have it on the listings. I would say once every 6 months, out of nowhere, this thing just pops off like crazy. All right, it's available on crypto.com. Look more into it if you want. I think there's like maybe a couple more. Pancake Swap, I still think that's a buy right now. I'm just being honest. Zilliqa, I don't know if I buy a second big of that. If I'm going to buy a second big of Zilliqa, I think I'd rather put the money into XDC, right? Because roughly around the same price range. If LCX drops below that 5 cent support, I think it does. I think that's your second chance of, at LCX around the 4 cent level personally. I know some of you guys are in a Phantom. Hold on a second. I'm just going to read a couple more. For me, Alliance Block, Nexera, I'm still cool with the bag I have. I may get into this again, a second bag. Tezos is a good project, but I'm not coming in at these prices just yet. Veracity, I may finally buy a bag of that. Energy Web Token, I'm totally sold on that because basically Tokenizer, right? Tokenizer knows its stuff, and these are great prices for Energy Web Token. Ethereum Classic is an absolute buy. No offense to anybody, I'm not getting into DigiByte. I understand that it could pop off. I get that. Watch out for Quant. If it drops below resistance, below 100, obviously you guys know it's a great buy. Just a couple more. Hold on a second. Pay attention to Stratos. Again, we lose support. Goes back into the 48 cent range. I'm telling you flat out, the market changes around. It will go back up to the 60s. We've seen that. Look more into that. I'm not touching ApeCoin. I think personally ApeCoin is done. Sorry if you hold ApeCoin. I think it's done. I will not mess with that. Maybe it's a good short-term play to swing trade. I don't know. But long-term, I think they're done. I may be wrong. That's just the way I feel about it. I will not cover WTK anymore, like I mentioned. USTC, if that breaks below a penny, I might finally pick up some. I know it sounds crazy. And don't get into Wink, right? Don't get into that. And Caspa, I think this is the last one I'm going to mention. Caspa at a penny and a half. I may have to look more into this. If it breaks resistance, even at this price, it's not too bad, right? But if it breaks resistance, I mean, I have to see where it goes. Because if it went to a penny or under, that's probably one of the best ones to get into as far as like being able to have a good position at a like rock bottom. So there's obviously more, but I thought I'd share this with you. Sorry for keeping you guys longer. I'm just showing you part of my watch list. All right. Let me see what we have left. Deep dive. Algo. Cheap. Good to know, Max. You're welcome. H-bar and Algo are your buys this week. Yeah. I mean, I cannot blame you on that. Like, you're not, take advantage of the sales. I know you guys are doing that. That's good. That's real good. There you go. Selma says, these manipulations are just distractions at this point. Be safe on your plays and wise and buy at your own risk. Yeah, I think they're definitely distractions. Marlon Pond. Yeah. All right. 1 day extra $100 XRP will look like a discount. That's very true, Brian. I'm glad you're looking at that. Yeah, Litecoin's a good price too. And as we know, that can go to like 4 to 430 in the price. Yeah, you called on Velo. I probably should cover Velo more. I did a video on that, Brian. Like you say, hey, can you look into Velo? It's just a little intro / somewhat of a deep dive. And the video started off with like 50 views for like the whole day. And then literally a month later, that's got like, I don't know, maybe almost 2,000 or 3,000 views and a bunch of subscribers. It's like, holy crap. So Max not going gorilla with the Ape coin. No, I'm not. And I could be wrong on it. And I'm not going to be the type of guy to be like, I'm always right. But you get what I'm saying. My point is this. I honestly think that long term they're done. But I could be wrong. And it's all right. It won't be the first time I was wrong. You guys have a great night. Glad to share that with you guys. We'll see you back here 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for more Crypto Talk Now. Really appreciate the community we have. Sayonara, adios, salute to y'all. Have a great night.